A night in with MauLer and the drinker, getting trashed with the web stream dictators. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop up the cork, have a glass of wine, as they'll say, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, MauLer and the critical drinker.
All right, stop everything, right? Because that intro was actually false advertising. It's actually just me and Reaper right now. So I feel like I owe you guys an explanation, right? The messaging system on X is playing up a little bit tonight, right? And we can not send messages properly to each other, which is kind of funny, actually, because that's kind of how we coordinate, like, everyone getting onto Open Bar. Like, I send the invite that way. And so half the people haven't actually seen it yet, or they haven't received it. So it's just the two of us right now. We thought, right, we can either wait for like potentially hours until the system actually works, or we can just start right now. So I thought, what the hell? Let's just like launch right into it. So as of right now, it's me and Reaper. I know George the Giant Slayer has seen the message, and so he's on his way. Don't know if MauLer exists currently or if he's going to make it. We will see. But what the hell? You know, Reaper, you look kind of, your avatar vaguely looks like MauLer. So you know what? You can be a stand-in for him right now. And in that being the case, you know what? We're just going to begin the stream. We're going to begin talking about tonight's, main topic, which in this case, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. We have both seen it. I think it's just come out in America like today, so a lot of people won't have seen it yet. It's been out in the UK for a couple of days, so I guess we got the jump on it. But wow, man. I was hoping for a return to form after Dead Reckoning. It felt like, you know, they'll have learned their lessons a little bit from that. There was a few mistakes made in that movie. It was a little bit disjointed. The AI thing wasn't a great villain. And I thought, you know, they'll put it right for this one. And this is a real, you know, going out on a high kind of situation. Kind of wasn't like that, was it?
No, not remotely.
Yeah.
There were nearly 3 hours of just exposition.
Yeah. And so, like, for the benefit of people watching this, right, we will start with no spoilers, right? So we'll just start off, like, vague, you know, we'll give you the general outline of the setup for this movie. And some overall thoughts, but maybe we'll save the spoilers until a little bit later in the stream, especially when the others are here. But yeah, what I will say is like this story suffers from like way too many MacGuffins. Like the plot is almost entirely built around MacGuffins, right? The AI from the previous movie is now running amok. It's a threat to the whole world. It wants to take control of everyone's nuclear arsenal. So that's the general plot line. And they need to find a way to combat it. So there's like a MacGuffin to capture it, and then there's another MacGuffin that will infect it with a virus, and then there's another MacGuffin that will allow them to like disable it. And that's the plot, basically, isn't it? It's just MacGuffin after MacGuffin, and they kind of make life so difficult for themselves because they know that the audience can't really keep track of all these different plot devices, all these different MacGuffins that are constantly getting thrown around. So every 5 minutes, there's an exposition dump. Literally, the characters will all get around a table or whatever and remind everyone of everything that's going on and everything that has to be done for this to work. And it just didn't need to be like that. It's way too convoluted and it's way too fucking long. This movie is close to 3 hours long and it doesn't need to be.
No, you feel every minute. About halfway through, they haven't even found the submarine, which was the whole setup of the first movie.
Hello.
Hello, MauLer. Did you get the message through X then?
That was close. No, well, it's funny.
8 minutes late, just in the nick of time, MauLer.
Well, everything worked system-wise, but you must have had it happen before. You're like, I'm on time. I can sit back for a moment. And then it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
The clock ran a little too long. And I'll be damned if I don't get on this episode, because I've done all my homework, okay?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we've got George the Giant Slayer as well. Welcome aboard, sir.
How you doing, my friend?
We are good. We were just we were talking about the virtues of Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, and there ain't many. So
Wow.
yeah, what I've suggested to Reaper is we maybe just start off talking in slightly vague terms so we don't spoil the movie too much with people, and then we get into spoilers a little bit later, just so people can get an overview first, and we don't scare everyone away. Okay.
No problem. I haven't seen it. I'm seeing it tonight.
Yeah, so we will try not to spoil it too much, and then
I
when we
don't
do
care.
start spoiling it, okay, that's fine then.
No, I don't care. I like Tom Cruise movies. If it's, I hope it's not a bad one, but it sounds like it is.
It's pretty bad.
I-
Yeah, I
Man,
would say I'd say it's probably worse than Dead Reckoning in terms of writing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I might just agree with you, which is pretty bad considering I thought Dead Reckoning sucked balls. So
Okay,
Yeah.
where would you put it with 2 and 3? The J.J. Abrams one.
Oh, it's better than 2,
Oh, okay.
but 3,
No.
I don't know. Like, I think it could be. Yeah, I think it's about the level of 3. Yeah,
yeah.
I need to rewatch 3 because it's been a while.
Quick question: does he die at the end? Because I keep getting different.
We just said we're not doing spoilers.
I know, but I'm dying because Cruz said he was done with it. Then he gave the Daily Mail an interview where he stated that he wants to do this is like Harrison Ford does Indy into his 80s. So,
Okay, I'll fuck, how can I put this? If you're hoping for a definitive conclusion to this franchise, you're not going to get it from this movie.
okay.
So, but anyway, yeah, we were just talking there about like the plot is like 90% MacGuffins and plot devices, like just one thing that needs to happen to make the other thing happen, and it's like
Gotcha.
there's like this ridiculously convoluted chain of events that have to happen at the finale in order to defeat the entity, and so they know that nobody can follow it. They know that people are going to get completely lost in all this stuff that's going on, and so they have to have exposition dumps every 5 minutes where literally all the characters have to constantly brief the audience and remind them of what's going on, and it's so frustrating because they've made life so difficult for themselves with this movie and they didn't have to.
Thank you.
I was quite struck. I don't know if you guys were by how horrific the editing was.
It's flabby. It's really flabby, and I don't know if it's like. It feels like when people are talking, they're not in the same room as each other. It's like the actors were in different places when they were doing their scenes. Because like so many times, it will just be a close-up shot of one person, then another person's talking, it's another close-up shot of them, vice versa, constantly changing. And it's weird. It's like it was shot during COVID where people couldn't be in the same room as each other or something. But I know it wasn't.
There's that, but like I don't know about anyone else. It felt like especially take for example, as one of the earliest scenes where they're in that I don't even know where they were, but they encounter like this. It's Tom Cruise, and he's like he's being warned, you'll get caught, and he's like, no, I'll be fine. And then he comes out of his call, and there's 2 guys looking right at him, and they've caught him essentially. I remember that whole scene. It felt like it was a way longer one that got cut down significantly. And I was barely tracking what was happening. And he talks to Haley Atwell in like a little, fucking corridor or whatever. And again, avoiding spoilers or whatever. You remember how that goes. It's a scene that happened. Everything just happened so quickly. And I was just like barely following what was going on.
It's really, because it's done out of sequence in that first little section. There's a lot of stuff that happens out of sequence, and it keeps jumping back to previous events to like clarify what's going on. And like initially you're like, what the fuck is even happening here? Gradually it fills you in, and again it just made stuff needlessly convoluted, and it didn't really achieve anything special. Like there's no real payoff plot wise. It was just being complex for the sake of being complex, and it just
How did
really
McQuarrie? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. How did McQuarrie do as directing wise?
I mean,
I'm just obviously I can tell y'all aren't happy with it. I was just curious. I mean, did it add any of the magic from Ghost Protocol?
I think like fight scenes and stuff are probably not as good as say what you would get in Fallout. Mission Impossible Fallout. Sorry, not the show. God.
It actually cuts away when Tom Cruise has to fight like 3 guys. It cuts to Haley Atwell, and she just keeps pulling a bunch of faces because Tom Cruise, they clearly couldn't get it to work, so they just did that instead.
I mean, I get that that was done for comedy purposes. Like, there's a bit where he gets like super violent on people, and like you basically just hear like bang, crash, wallop in the background while she's reacting to it. And then when it's done, there's just like bodies everywhere with like meat cleavers stuck in them and stuff. And
I thought that was actually quite odd for Mission Impossible. They've not really ever done that, where it's like hyper violence, quote unquote. Not really compared to a lot of stuff he's done. And then her being like, "Oh my god!" And then he's like, "Well, you know, they were trying to kill us." You know, I was like, "Okay," that just felt like a strange joke for Mission Impossible.
Yeah, it just the whole thing is like just not as slick and you know, flowing as most of these Mission Impossible movies are, and what we've gotten up until this point. Because you'd think like as they go on, they would really hone it down to a fine art, and it feels like if anything, they've gotten worse over the past couple of movies.
I was wondering how they were going to handle this film, considering the amount of exposition you'd need from part one, if for those who haven't seen it, which they obviously are trying to account for now, especially with the renaming, right? They didn't call this part two; they've now called it Final Reckoning, which I thought was funny. But anyway, I was like, how are you going to help people out? And if you remember, the film starts with this like sort of you're inside
message
the AI.
From
It's
the
like you're staring into the heart of the entity, and you hear about 20 quotes from the past. It's like, the AI is and it's like, it can be anything it wants. It's controlling the world. Oh, we got to run away. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's how they're going to catch us up, by saying how scary it is. And I was like, no, that's not even like the beginning of the exposition. That's just like a little taster. It's like the appetite of the exposition. Then you get, the standard sort of mission, if you choose to accept it, sort of thing. But it goes on for fucking ages, and it even recaps like the whole series.
Yeah, because it's like they almost got to the end of making this movie and decided like this is the final one, right? So we need to bring up the nostalgia. We need to bring up like references to all the different movies, and it's just like, right, fine, we'll throw in a montage like this with some really over the top dramatic like monologuing from the president, and the way it sets up Tom Cruise, or sorry, Ethan Hunt, as like this almost Messiah-like character now, who's like fated, it's his destiny to save the human race. It's so weirdly out of step with everything Mission Impossible has been about up until now. I mean, I get that he's often had the fate of the world in his hands, but like he's always just been a guy. He's not like, they don't deal with like fate and destiny and all that stuff. That's like Star Wars level shit.
Yeah, you're right. They do, and it comes up several times. Like it is his destiny to put his life on the line for the rest of the world, sort of stuff. It's just like, okay, you keep saying this, and it makes it feel strange, as opposed to how it's always felt, which is he's a very talented agent who gets the job done.
This is. I wonder if this factors into it a little bit. By the way, the idea of an AI god essentially declaring Tom Cruise to be the Messiah that will save humanity. Like, I don't know, man. It's hard to ignore sometimes.
Did you catch they flash so many images from the past films? Anthony Hopkins' face turns up at one point because he's
yeah. I thought that would make you happy.
Well, but it was so strange. I was just like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, he's Anthony Hopkins, for anyone who doesn't know, he's like the mission giver in Mission Impossible 2. He's just the guy.
Barely
who's
in
like,
it,
he's barely in it. So but they show everything basically across this film. And that was the other thing I was going to say about the editing. The amount of clips they show, it is like a clip show. Like the editor went nuts. He was told, you need to involve as many clips as possible from the past films to make this seem like the ultimate respectful end to the Mission Impossible franchise.
Well, how many times did you see the guy die on the elevator where it goes through his mouth?
Oh,
that
yeah.
was like 3 times.
Yeah.
That guy just kept dying over and over again.
And it's actually a really funny scene because it's quite badly shot in the original movie. Like, why are they supposed to keep doing that?
I was unfortunately struck by the fact that I think the first time they show it is in the context of like, you've lost so many members of your team, like people that you've they treated like it was a very big moment that affected him greatly. I was like, I don't even remember that guy's name. Like, I just
a guy.
It was just guy, yeah.
Doesn't the AI show him that stuff as well? And it's like stuff that like no video equipment was recording it like in universe, and so it couldn't possibly show that to him.
Oh yeah, you're right, because it's like, he got it from his brain, I guess. And it's like, well, he didn't see that. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I don't know. It's like the AI's breaking the fourth wall and fucking with the audience directly. So I should
But the
say
problem-
this as well. Sorry, on you go.
I was just gonna say the problem is trying to tie it to all the past movies to the point where they start retconning events like the
Yes.
rabbit's foot.
Oh,
Like the
that was
rabbit's
insane,
foot.
dude.
We were
Oh.
talking about that. So that was like a bioweapon from like Mission Impossible. Was it Rogue Nation
Yeah.
or something?
Three.
And like now it's been rewritten, so it's like the petri dish that the AI evolved in, and it's like,
Oh my god.
AIs don't work like that.
It
Isn't
had
it
it
nuts,
had a
man?
biological stamp on the side of it, and
Yeah.
they're now going, no, it's a computer virus.
I thought that
yeah.
was the one where he had to be like Belair font, and it was the
That's number
Chimera.
No,
two.
that was two.
I don't,
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
that's
blame
two.
anybody for mixing these up, but number 3, J.J. Abrams, the fucking primary like thing in the movie is a mystery box. The rabbit's foot, you never find out what it truly is. But Reaper's right. It has like a radioactive symbol on it or something, and Simon Pegg describes it as a thing that if it were released, it would like destroy everything. It's implied to be like a horrible, horrible disease or something that would spread throughout the world and destroy
Biological.
everything. Yeah. But now, oh, it's so fucking dumb because they're like, Ethan, remember in Mission Impossible 3 where you never found out what it was? Well, it was the fucking entity. It's like, what are you talking about? No, it
So-
wasn't.
Again, it's like setting him up as like the creator of the entity. Like he didn't mean to create it, but he released it into the world, and then it evolved into the AI that we see now.
Yeah, and he's
And-
like, it's all my fault. It's like, no,
And he-
shut
yeah.
up.
He's responsible for the submarine blowing up somehow.
Somehow, yeah.
It's all connected.
Unbelievable.
So I made this joke. I was talking to Friggy about how wouldn't it be funny if Final Reckoning did a Spectre? For those who haven't seen Mission Impossible, sorry, James
yeah.
Bond Spectre.
It was me all along, James.
I was the author of all your pain. I am the one who connects all the events of past James Bond, Daniel Craig films in the most like stupid way possible. It's like, trust me, all of this was leading to one thing. This was all the plan. It's like, no, it wasn't, and we all know it wasn't. Shut up.
yeah.
Mission Impossible is fucking weird. Brian De Palma over to John Woo, over to J.J. Abrams, over to Brad Bird, director of The Incredibles, doing some kind of Mission Impossible, over to Macquarie.
Yeah.
Like, it is so strange to try and connect those first 4. You're not going to do it. But this film, what's weird is like, someone might say to you like, oh, so I need to see Dead Reckoning before this film. And I'm like, make sure you see Mission Impossible 1 and 3 before you see this film. You'd be like, what? Why? You're like, well, dude, can we talk? I know it's you
Oh,
said
yeah,
no
the
spoilers,
guy
but this isn't a
in
spoiler,
the-
right? To say that the Jim Phelps reveal.
Talking about John Voight.
Oh,
you mean
yeah, like the son.
Briggs'
I was
dad?
laughing in the cinema. I thought that was so fucking
What
funny.
were they doing? And like it's got no real payoff whatsoever.
Yeah, if I can explain it, because this is a bit strange, right? The first Mission Impossible adaptation of the TV show. I know this because I haven't seen the show, but I know Gary was mad about this. Was that John Voight plays Jim Phelps, who they make a twist villain. A lot of fans don't like that because
No,
he's a good
don't like
guy
it,
in the
yeah.
show. He died after being obviously revealed as the villain. And if you remember, he got crushed by like a fucking helicopter in a tunnel and train
Yeah.
fight thing. It was crazy. So the fucking, what's his name? It's like Rooks or Crooks or whatever the fuck. He's a
Briggs with the
police
son.
officer.
Briggs. it is.
Briggs. He was chasing him in Dead Reckoning. Barely has that much screen time. Mostly just turns up at scenes and misses crews, whatever. He like gets caught pretty early in this film at one point, and they're like sitting down together in an airplane or whatever, helicopter, and they're just staring each other off. And at first, I was always like, "What are we doing?" Like, they're not like it's not like they're nemesis or whatever. It's just like we've barely had them meet. And he's like, "I know who you actually are. I know that Briggs is like a fake name, Jim Phelps." And at first, I was like, "What the fuck time travel are we doing? Like, what?" And it's like named after your father. It's like dun dun dun. And I was like, what the hell does that what does that change? What does that even mean? And it's like, oh, is this your revenge? And he's like, is this because you framed my dad? You tried to make him take all the the blame for the events of the first film, and you tried to convince the IMF or whatever have you that he was the evil one. And I was like, oh, there was definitive proof that he was the evil one.
Yeah,
If you
he recorded
remember,
them with the glasses.
Yeah, well, what's his name? Like the leader of the IMF or whoever it was, like the handler for Tom Cruise. He sees proof, definitive, that Jim Phelps is behind it all. I was like, what is this nonsense twist? And nothing happens with that for 2.5 hours in the whole story until right at the end, where, and again, I don't think this is a spoiler to say because it's just nothing in the film. He's just like, I like you, and shakes his hand at the end. That's it.
That's our payoff. That's our payoff.
I saw Jean Reno's knife constantly in the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Again, the knife doesn't get used for anything really, but like
just a callback.
Well, no, there is a bigger callback to that scene, and well, this isn't even really a spoiler either. Like, okay, the actor who was like the sort of computer technician from that scene, in the first movie, he's back. Remember him? He's an old man now.
Can I say, it's funny, and then he's like a main character.
Yeah, it's like he totally outstays his fucking welcome.
Yeah, I was like, why are you still here? Like, no offense, but like, you're not a part of the team, bro.
Yeah, it's almost like he was supposed to have died in that shootout in the cabin, and like, he's still alive, and then everyone's just awkwardly like, "Oh, so you're still here, huh?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, but then he's supposed to die again, and then he doesn't.
Yeah, so he has his wife too. She's just there.
The Inuit woman who just smiles. And she goes, "She's the love of my life."
Oh, so weird. There's so much stupid stuff in this movie. It's frustrating as fuck. The AI as well, like, because again, this isn't really a spoiler. It's more just like a general observation. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's effectively the villain of this movie. Like, I know we've also got Gabriel, but like, he's like a henchman, basically. The AI is the real villain. There's literally one scene where Tom Cruise is able to communicate directly with it. He gets plugged into a fucking virtual reality coffin or something. And like,
did you get a strobe warning for that scene in your cinema? Because I did.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you should have had a strobe warning just for that opening montage of all the different shots from the movies, because it gets so fast, it basically is a strobe light.
With the music as well.
I can't even process what I'm seeing. But anyway, yeah, like there's one scene where it communicates directly with him, and it's like, you will do this thing for me or I will hurt you. And please don't do the other thing that I don't want you to do, because that would totally destroy me. And it's like, I'm gonna let you out now and just trust that you do what I want. And then that's it. And then you never hear from it again. Like, it's still a threat, but it never interacts directly with anyone again. And I just thought, what the fuck was the point in any of that?
It's the destiny shit again. The machine basically decides you are the only person that probably can destroy me. However, you're also the only person in the world who could possibly get the thing I need. It's like, really? Come on. They even say like, oh, the entity could never get to the submarine. Meanwhile, you are like the only person on Earth who can. We end up seeing why that's true, because Tom Cruise is immune to death in this film.
Yeah. I think this is probably where we might transition into doing spoilers, so consider that fair warning, people of chat.
Well, I guess this right before, do any of the, so 3 of us have seen it. Anyone recommending it?
Wow.
I mean, on the positive side, like, the action sequences are good, the stunts are good, like, it's all very impressive visually. And I guess if you're a Mission Impossible fan of the series, you're gonna want to know how it ends, if nothing else. But would I recommend it for the average person? Like,
I wouldn't even say it ends.
Not.
It doesn't really have an end. It's just kind of, oh, we're off to the next adventure.
Would you recommend it for streaming?
Yeah.
Would you recommend it for at home? Like at home, like wait till you just watch it one Saturday afternoon?
Probably, yeah.
It's 3 hours of just exposition.
Yeah, it's
like, do you enjoy people talking about convoluted, retarded shit? Because that is the movie.
It's certainly, you see the money it costs. You know, there's a lot of money it costs.
How are normies reacting to it in the theaters? Like the audience?
Probably okay. I don't know.
I mean, it got a good reaction. It got a good reaction in my theater, I think. They laughed at the jokes and stuff, and they seemed happy when they came out, but like, it wasn't particularly full.
The only time I laughed in my theater was when Tom Cruise is attacking the entity worshipper, and he goes, "You spend too much time on the internet," as he's kicking him.
Yeah.
There was one laugh for the cinema for me, and it was one that I was laughing my fucking head off. But I don't know if it was beneficial to the film, and it would be near the end. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. Something shocking happens in terms of the bad guy.
Oh, I think I know what you mean.
I was losing it. I thought it was so fucking funny, and I think that Christopher McQuarrie would be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Christopher McQuarrie would be like, that was funny, wasn't it? And I'd be like,
I mean, it was unexpected.
yeah. Like, not
It's
what I
like
would put in a Mission Impossible film, but you know what?
You know, in The Predator, where the guy accidentally shoots his own head off with the plasma caster, it's kind of along those lines. Look, I guess like this is where we might as well go into spoilers then.
Yeah.
So yeah, the bit with the submarine. Could someone like explain to Tom Cruise how decompression works? Because
the film
I don't think
the film told him he would not make it.
And then he
just
just
all of his tech, and then he loses the tech, and he still doesn't makes it. It's like, okay.
So people in chat, right? To put this into context, he's got to dive down to that wrecked submarine from the previous movie, right? And he's told, look, when you come up, you know, you're going to have to go through decompression because it's really deep and stuff, and like it takes days. And even with this state of the art, like, so, you know, underwater suit that we've got you, it's still going to take a long time to recover from this. And it's like, okay, fine. So then he goes down, and the submarine starts barrel rolling down a fucking underwater cliff, and then falls off the cliff. And then he fires himself out of a torpedo tube to escape from it, and then goes down another like half mile or so before he manages to free himself. But he has to take his suit off to fit out through the torpedo tube, and then he just has to swim to the surface from like a mile down.
Too.
He loses his oxygen tank, so he just kind of has to hold his breath, literally doing the exact opposite of what he was told. Like, you will die if you do this, and he's fine. Haley Atwell finds him somehow and pulls him out of the ice. He drowns, and then he floats up somehow. And then she rescues him, and there's some amazing shots of her cleavage. Like, for some reason, they're in the Arctic.
I was wondering
she's down to a tank top.
Was that on purpose to let us know why it's reasonable that he got resurrected? I was like,
I'd come back from the dead for that
makes
woman.
Some
man.
sense. Yeah, I was gonna say, okay. They're just saying she's powerful, not that he is. Like she can do anything.
Sure. Tom Cruise wrote it. She didn't need to be in a decompression chamber with him. Tom Cruise wrote it that she had to lie her big tits on him.
Yeah,
that was in the script.
Well, it was for insulation, man. She had to warm him up. You know, he was frozen.
He didn't even have a blanket on. It was just her tits.
Yeah. They knew how to use her to good effect anyway. But yeah, that whole sequence, it could have been awesome because the bit where the submarine starts to move, it's like, oh, this is quite cool. This is quite tense. And then it just gets progressively more ridiculous to the point where it's like, no, this is comedy.
It lasts a while, and it clearly cost a lot to really make it look amazing. It's a huge submarine. I mean, presumably it's like a full submarine set where they're spinning it and the water is moving around the room. So he's got to awkwardly move while missiles are dislodging, things are falling around. He's got to be really careful. I was like, that's cool, but you know, that's about it for me. I was like, this is fine. You kind of want.
Well, there's ways to make that really tense, isn't there? Like, you know, a person in a claustrophobic underwater environment that's flooding, they need to find a way out before they run out of time. Like, that's so cool. Like, it doesn't need to be this crazy elaborate, you know, like fucking underwater theme park ride. It could be something simpler than that. But like, they always have to one up it, and like this just takes it to a ludicrous level. And I don't know what they were hoping to do with that. Like, they've never tried to portray Ethan Hunt as like literally superhuman like this, where he can survive anything. And just too much.
I think he's at his most. So actually, I recently rewatched Mission Impossible 1. I love that scene in the White Room where he's got to stay completely silent and he can't touch any walls, can't sweat, can't even like breathe too loudly, and they're on a timer. And you know, Jean Reno's got to keep him balanced while he's like got a rat near him in the vent, and
he's sweating.
Yeah,
like a droplet of sweat comes off, and Tom Cruise has to catch it so it doesn't set off the sensors.
And you'd be like, well, yeah, but that's nowhere near as crazy or high stakes. It's like, I know, right? And yet I feel like it's more effective than some of the shit you see Tom Cruise do in later Mission Impossibles, which is absolutely fucking nuts. And as Drink has described it, if anything, you've described it in a way that people might not appreciate how absolutely fucking nuts it is. He swims for what feels like would be like a half an hour without,
Well, it was
breathing.
500 feet before the submarine fell.
Yeah.
So he's 600 feet on one breath, in like basically naked. He swam to the surface.
It's
And
I,
we all
honestly
knew he'd
'cause-
survive. It was only the act 2. So it's like,
yeah,
he'll be fine.
exactly. And it's like, yeah, we were theorizing like Tom Cruise is obviously putting the hard time at the gym, and he's like 60, but he's still ripped, and it's like he just wanted to show it off. So he's like, "Fuck it, I'll do this whole thing in my speedos." Like
He does that straight after the torture scene where he kills those people, and he's got his shirt just ripped open.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole fight sequence where he's training because he needs to like get his body full of this like special mixture of oxygen and God knows what else before he does the dive. So he's just like running on a treadmill with a face mask on, and then someone tries to like attack him, so he has to fight the guy off just in his underpants, just because like I guess Tom Cruise was in good shape. Like there was no reason for him to be like completely like almost butt naked for that scene, but he chose to. It was a creative choice.
I like as well. When that started happening, I was like, why the fuck is this guy trying to kill him? And then he's just like, you will not destroy the entity, Ethan. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. He's just a weird guy.
This is another thing we should probably talk about this movie. So one of the many subplots that never really gets developed is like there's a kind of like entity worshipping death cult, like quasi-religious thing, and they want it to succeed for some reason. They want it to wipe out humanity. But it's never developed. It just means like every so often a random guy will just go fucking nuts and try to kill everyone because he believes in this thing so much. And then that's it. And it's never dealt with again once the whole thing's over. Like, what did all those people do after this? Don't know. Just went off home, I guess, had a cup of tea.
Oh, dude, they can't recover. Like, another Mission Impossible wouldn't even make sense world building wise. The world, at the beginning of this, they're like, the world has been thrust into a position where no one believes anything from anyone ever. Like, that's the nature of truth now. The world is in chaos. It's just a complete disaster. Like, oh, that sounds awful. Then it's like, yeah, we're not going to show you that. Like, they show a riot at some place.
Yeah, I like the way the media, it goes, oh, he's changing the media. When the media lies non-stop, I don't think people would be that bothered.
Yeah, well, it's like, oh man, we had so much faith in the news media up until now, you know?
I thought it was really funny. They were like, here's an example of what the entity does. It shows a picture of a guy with a camera, and then it goes, and it changes the camera into a gun. It's like, it can manipulate photos. Like, oh, we can do that already.
Yeah.
Like, we're pretty good, actually. Like, a lot of people can do it.
It's kind of like, yeah, it's like an old man hears about AI, and he's like, oh, this would make a good plot for a movie.
Skynet, Terminators.
I can't believe that's what it turned out to be. It's just got Skynet's motivation. It was so funny when it was like, it plans to launch all the nukes all over Earth to wipe out humanity. I was like, okay, really? Is it also making robots? Like,
yeah, I feel like we've done this thing before.
It's even stupider than that because it's a digital entity that's planning to destroy all the computers and people on the world, and then hunker down in some random vault forever.
Yeah,
why?
I didn't understand. So that's actually a really good point. Do you know the reason why Skynet is good for Skynet to have machines? It's because they basically run around the whole world doing whatever it wants and moves things around. It interacts with the real world.
It needs a physical presence, yeah.
Yeah. They didn't do that part for the entities. And what Reba just said is exactly what the plan is. I'm just going to sit in a box somewhere forever. Like, why?
Yeah, because Gabriel is supposed to be its physical, how it interacts with the world, its followers. But the followers all know they want to nuke the world because at the beginning, some guy goes, the children of the atom from Fallout, it will rise and we will all live. And you went, it's a nuclear fucking bomb. How does anyone survive?
Okay, but they did answer it, okay? There's a scene where he goes, why? Why would the entity do this? What's his end game? And then the fucking dude from Mission Impossible 1 goes, I bet they asked the same question when God flooded the earth.
Noah.
It's like, what? Like, that's not even what?
That's not even an explanation.
I don't understand.
Wow, I'm going to get a refund.
Yeah, it would literally like it would need someone to then come to the vault and let it out, right? In order for it to get back into the world and I don't know, start like influencing it in any way. And it's like, well, you won't have anyone to do that because everyone will be dead, and the only person who knows about the vault will have been killed by you fucking retard.
Mm-hmm.
Like this entity doesn't make it. And as well, right, the whole plot revolves around it taking control of every country's nuclear missiles, right? And everyone acts, because it happens like gradually. So it's like, oh, a week ago it took control of China's nuclear missiles, so like it could launch them at any time, but it's waiting until it's got everyone's nuclear missiles, right? Russia alone has got enough missiles to wipe out the human race 100 times over, right? It doesn't need everyone on Earth. And also, if it did, like, and you've got days, like, oh, we've lost control of our nuclear arsenal, and you've still got days before it does anything, just go in and like power down your missiles manually. Just physically, like, take the fuel out of them or something.
The president goes to do that. The president says, I will not launch the nukes, pull the power. And you're like, why doesn't everyone just unplug it?
Well, because they still had control of their nuclear arsenal at the time, so it's like they could manually take it offline before the entity got control.
But then do that,
like,
even if it's fueling, they go
exactly. Yeah, like my point is, like, even once it does get control of your missiles, you can still just physically disable them. You can fucking shoot them if you want, like, and just blow them up.
Did any of you find it hilarious that the film opens with basically the whole world's nukes to the entity except Russia, China, UK, and US, I think? And then, like, the film's version of the ticking clock is at every act, they're like, the UK is lost. Their nukes are now with the entity. China's lost. Russia's lost. America is the only one left. And can they save the world? I was like, shut up.
And every missile's got its country's flag like spray painted on the side of it. It's like the British ones have got big Union Jacks on them.
What was funny is that there's an Israel flag, and they're not supposed to have any. So Mission Impossible secretly said they had weapons.
Oh no, they said the quiet part out loud.
But the thing is, though, you don't need to take over every single nuke. If India just launched 20 nukes at Europe, that's it. That's all it takes. Everyone would just counter.
Yeah, exactly.
I need your help with one part of the movie because I wasn't sure I was hearing this correctly. Basically, there are like 9 major places where nukes would be launched from, and America have a choice to make. They could nuke all of those sites to prevent the entity from using those sites to launch its nukes, or they could sit back and wait for the entity to take full control over the whole world and then launch away and destroy everything. So the choice seems to be destroy everything or destroy major cities throughout the world. And
that
the
won't
general,
stop it, though.
So before we even get to that, because that choice is retarded, but does the general guy or someone else say, okay, you can destroy the 8-9 cities or whatever, but as a courtesy, you should also destroy one of the states in America? And am I right that the logic is if you blow up one of the states in America along with London and a bunch of other places, the countries will feel less bad because you'll have blown up your own place.
I think that was their logic. Yeah,
that was like, insanity.
Let's blow up New York
honestly,
because
you could probably blow up San Francisco actually, and it would benefit the country in the long run. But yeah,
sure. Did you see they were like, oh, we found like the lowest population and lowest economically relevant state? I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Goodbye, poor people.
Nebraska's fucked, man. Like,
this is sounding more and more like a comedy.
It's not even fair because Beijing goes, we had 7 billion in our capital. You have about 50 in Ohio.
Could you imagine if America launched a nuke on London and they said, don't worry, we're blowing up New York as well? You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why would that like make it feel better? What?
They would just be like, well, America's lost their minds clearly.
And they say it's like a thing that would make us all feel better. And you're like, no.
That's like someone shooting you and then shooting themselves going, see, it's fair. You go, I'm still shocked though.
Oh man.
Or like, I don't know, it's like someone who shoots your entire family and then shoots themselves in the foot or something, and they're like, see, you can't get mad at me. I'm hurting too.
I'm hurting too.
So what's the lesson here?
America's retarded. The entire American government is incompetent.
I mean, broadly, the film continuously seems to be about how there are people out there who will do everything they can, risk everything to make our lives safer and better. And
right, but I'm saying, like, as in films, like, you know, like once you save the world 10 times, maybe you should stop because it just gets ludicrous. I mean, there's nowhere to go.
Because with this, like, there's not even that sort of argument of control versus safety or anything like that. Because this thing just straight up wants to wipe out the human race. Like the secondary antagonist, and I swear they've like rejigged the plot on this one at the 11th hour, because it's like they probably realized like this AI thing is really not that compelling or interesting, and so Gabriel just kind of takes over, but he just becomes a kind of cackling, mustache twirling villain. Like his fucking plan is insane. He sets a 30 mega. Why does
Oh
he
my
even do
god!
this?
He
Oh
sets
my
a-
god!
Two
30
nuclear bombs.
He sets a 30 megaton nuclear bomb right in the vault that the entity wants to get into to like take shelter. Why? Like 1 kiloton would be enough to vaporize the entire complex, but 30 fucking megatons, that's on par with the Tsar bomber, like the biggest fucking bomb detonate. It's on a 20-minute timer, right? They dick around with a shootout and stuff for like a good 5 or 10 minutes. So he's got about 10 minutes to get away. He gets into like a 1920s biplane
Yeah.
and then flies off, right? Thinking like, I've totally gotten away here. Those things are going to go, what, 200 miles an hour? Max, absolute max speed. In 10 minutes, you ain't going to get outside the fucking fireball. Never mind safe distance.
But then a second biplane comes out of nowhere and Tom Cruise just jumps on it.
No, he
Dude,
does say, right, they set this up in the most retarded way where he's like,
Yeah.
haha, I've got a plane, it's analog, so it won't be affected by the EMP, and I even brought a spare just in case.
When he
so,
said
like,
that, I
he
was like,
takes-
that'll be Tom Cruise's one then. Like, that's
Yep.
how that's gonna work.
And he takes
Dude, that-
off, right? And then the other guy who's flying the other one is just a random extra. Like who's this guy? What's his backstory? He's
Why does he get to live?
He's just
just
there.
there to look after the plane. And
Um,
like if the first plane had broken down and like Gabriel had to use that second one, would he just have to awkwardly say to the guy, like, well, only one of us can fly out of here, buddy. So
Well, there was
you
two
know.
seats, so
oh shit, yeah, so there was. I think that
But,
He could have gotten a plane with Gabriel, the first one, and sabotaged the other one.
I thought it was really obviously a bad version of the exact same action scene from Fallout. The
The
climax in that.
helicopters.
Like, yeah, it's the same action scene. I don't
Yeah.
know why they were.
Well, and Gabriel's chasing him in the biplane, right? And he's trying to bring Tom Cruise's plane down, not by shooting it, mind you, but by crashing into it and dicing it with his propeller. Now, I'm no expert on airplanes, right? But I feel like if you crash one plane into another, propeller first, you're probably going to break that propeller, and then you're going to die. But it's
You're
fine.
trying to outrun a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, he's just
luck.
It's
dogfighting.
so absurd, the whole fucking thing. It's just not. And you're right. The Gabriel's not spending the scene being like, we have to defeat you, or you're going to do this, or talking about like the nature of it. He's just laughing. It keeps cutting to him. He's just going, it's just like, what the fuck? He used
His
to
death
have
is shit.
motivations, but
His death is so funny because there's only one parachute, Ethan, and he just splats his head on the back.
I was laughing about that for a while, and I feel like I wasn't laughing with the film, you know?
No,
Like, just to be
Please.
absolutely clear for chat, Gabriel, the bad guy of the first and second movie here, he announces to Ethan, like, despite all of his efforts, despite everything that's happened, they're both super high up and they're both about to jump off this plane, and only one has a parachute. He jumps and he hits his head on the plane and dies.
Like his head like gets split in half by the tail fin. Like he goes straight into it.
I was just
Did
like,
they-
Also,
did
he's parachuting out into the place that's about to get nuked.
yeah,
yeah.
Why is
Yeah.
he laughing? He's gonna die.
story, he
His
can outrun it.
perspective.
Did they ever explain the backstory that they kept hinting at in the first
No,
one, where
they
they're like this
actually-
mysterious?
I was
He's
really
the guy.
surprised by
Kill-
that. They didn't give us any more on it. They showed the same flashback again, where there's a woman. She gets killed by Gabriel, and apparently Ethan got framed for it, and that's how he joined the IMF. That's all that we ever
Wow.
find out, which we knew from Dead Reckoning. They
Right.
didn't
So
give us any more.
I guess there's
Like,
going to
who
be a
is she?
final reckoning too.
I don't know who she was. I guess someone he loved from ages ago.
Wow.
We never found
Like,
out.
he moves on to Gail because already after Issa's death last movie, he's already on to Haley Atwell.
Oh,
He just moves
man,
on from
dude.
girlfriend to
I
girlfriend.
mean,
Yeah,
if,
she's dead,
if I
big
could,
too.
I would as well.
dude, I got told by so many people because I hated that about Dead Reckoning. What it did to
Ferguson?
Ilsa Faust. She was like one of the best, if not the second best character of the franchise. They did so much work for her in Rogue Nation, Fallout, and then she got killed so lamely, so unceremoniously. And the meta is like, well, she was working on Dune and Silo and stuff. She chose those over this, and it's like, okay, but like you didn't have to write it so that she just like boringly died on a bridge to Gabriel. And I got told by many people she's obviously alive. She's obviously faked her death. She's obviously going to come back in the next movie.
How?
It's like,
Nah,
no,
she's
she
dead
didn't.
as-
She's just
dead
dead.
as fuck. I was gonna say as well, you know the blonde assassin girl from the previous movie that like Gabriel stabbed and then like Tom Cruise spared her life and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What was the point of her in this movie? Because
She's
she
the
does
killer
nothing.
person. She's the most talented killer on the team. She kills everybody. Kill.
She was only there to tell Tom Cruise to go to that party where he immediately got caught, and then that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. But then it's like the movie didn't know what to do with her, but they wanted her around, and I kept waiting for her to do something. It's like, this is her time to shine, or this is where she's going to do something awesome, and it literally never happens. She's just there.
She doesn't have character beyond, I want to kill Gabriel. It's like, okay, you can, but not now. I want to kill Gabriel. It's like, soon, not yet. I want to kill Gabriel. You can do it right now. Oh, I couldn't get him. Oh, well.
Yeah, this amazing assassin, right? Her gun runs out of ammo and she doesn't notice. Yeah. So when she goes to shoot him, it's just like click, click, click. Oh no! And then he's gone. It's like,
I'm really surprised.
Damn, you had one job.
What about Luther?
Luther.
Oh, well, we can get to him in a second. I was just going to say that I don't understand why they put so much effort storytelling-wise into making a payoff of her killing Gabriel, and then they just leave it when you hit the third act. They're just like, eh.
Yeah, well, Tom
she's
Cruise
now
had to
attached to Simon Pegg because isn't she Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're trying to go for like a Drax Mantis thing, where because she's now suddenly caring about Simon Pegg, who she barely even knows.
Simon Pegg's a bit lost in this one as well, actually.
Yeah.
Again, he's got one thing to do at the end, but then Haley Atwell kind of fills in for his role as well. So it's like,
how stupid is that? Because you've got 0.1 seconds to plug in the thing and grab it. She's got to grab the entity when it gets in the jar.
That's going to take some explaining for the...
I know. How the fuck do we explain this to the audience?
Well, you know what?
They have to basically chase the entity off the internet, right, by giving it a virus in the real world, and then it's going to run into this underground shelter where they're going to trap it in like a little data, a little USB stick, basically, that lights
so
up.
Stupid.
And they've got 1/1,000,000 of a second to unplug it once it gets in.
So fucking dumb.
The USB stick will light up when it's in it. The entity's physically in it, like it's a fucking ghost trap from Ghostbusters. And so they need someone who's got super quick reactions to grab it and pull it out. That's why Haley Atwell has to do it.
He's not joking. They say, is it like 100th of a millisecond? They say, or something like that.
100 milliseconds. So literally 1/10 of a second, I think.
Just to be clear for chat, they have a giant, thick USB in. They need it to be in long enough that the entity goes in, but not long enough that the entity goes in and activates the nukes, which it does. It wants to do as soon as it goes in. So they say, like, you need to be grabbing this instantly the second it uploads, even earlier than the second, literally like millions of a second, whatever. And it's like, that's impossible. No human could do that. And they like look at her, they're like, what's the difference between a good pickpocket and a great pickpocket? And the camera like zooms in on her and she goes,
Boobs.
Timing. One of the stupidest things ever. Like, just because she's a pickpocket does not mean she can grab a USB stick in under 1/1000,000 of a second, whatever. Oh my god.
It's fast as your eye blinks. That is the speed she has to move. By the time you blink.
Yeah,
sorry.
It made me laugh as well, right? Because there's a point where they're waiting for it to happen, and so she's got her hand hovering over the USB stick, and she's sort of like she's ready like this to grab it, and she goes like, oh, like that, like she's waiting. And I thought, if it happens at that particular moment, you're fucked.
I will admit, like, I was getting a bit lost with this plot line because they basically say like, Luther has developed a killer device USB that you need to upload to the source code for the entity that's stuck in the Sevastopol, and you have to do that right as you tempt the AI into the Doom protocol so that it gets out of the internet and simultaneously gets trapped into the super USB. I was just like, this is all insane, and it was written by someone who's old. Like, there's no other way to explain it.
The USB Luther makes happens to fit into this device he's never met before.
Yeah.
Is it like a USB-C? Is it a USB?
It's like, shit, find the adapter.
It's got a slot. It's got a slot that is perfect for a flash drive. Like, how many years later, technology's moved on.
Oh, and you were saying how stupid it is. He had like the 30 megaton bomb. He just fucking had one when he wanted to kill Luther.
Yeah, I remember like
He just
in
brings one.
Fallout, like having a nuke is like the entire centerpiece of the movie. Like that is a massive deal. But in here, like in this one, they can just throw around 30 megaton
Gabriel
nuclear
has
weapons
them
like they're nothing.
in his pocket. He just easy. They need to go kill Luther, right? And they decide, I will trap him in a room with a giant nuke that he has to disarm, such that if he does, it will kill him. Like, you could just kill him. Why do you need all the other shit?
Give him a bomb that's really hard to disarm or something. Yeah, because like the idea behind it is like it's got like 10 explosive devices wired to it that are needed to start the nuclear reaction. And if you take one of them out, like it'll still blow up, but it won't go nuclear. And so that's what Luther has to do. Like there's not enough time to remove all of them. There's just enough time to take one out. And I thought, again, okay, you do that, right? But you've still got all this nuclear material like underneath, in this case, London, right? It's blown up, but like there's going to be fallout everywhere. Like even if it hasn't gone nuclear, there's still going to be like
Dirty bomb.
radiation all over. Yeah, it's a dirty bomb, basically, but like no one cares about that. It doesn't matter.
But
And yeah,
he was
Luther
being
dies in this,
chased.
by the way.
Does the writing honor any character? Like, does anyone shine?
I mean, Luther gets a nice exit, and
They're very
it's kinda
kind to
heroic.
Luther, but like it's still kind of he's got some kind of like terminal illness at the beginning of the film anyway. I thought that
Oh,
was
so it doesn't
strange.
matter.
It's
if he
never
fucking
explained.
dies.
Yeah, it's
It
never
doesn't
explained
matter.
what's wrong with him because, like, in the previous movie, I remember looking at Ving Rhames and thinking, God, he looks kind of ill these days. Like, he just looked really tired and heavy
Well,
and slow and stuff. And
yeah,
I thought, okay,
I
maybe
love
that's just
Ving
him.
Rhames, but he is old and he is large. Like, and you don't see men like that very often. So
Yeah.
get that sword, Ving. All right, we want you around for the next Mission Impossible that they probably won't make.
Yeah, in this,
The
he's
scene
like,
is so... Sorry, go on.
yeah, in this, he's like, he's working in an underground fucking dungeon or something. And yeah, he's in a hospital gown for some reason. And it's implied that he's getting treatment for something, but it's never really explained.
Yeah, they
what's
don't
wrong
go
with him.
over it.
They have a nurse. There's a nurse in the underground place. I don't know how they recruited her.
And she just dies and no one cares.
Yeah.
She gets knifed and no one gives a shit.
But the stupid thing is, the scene where he plants the nuclear bomb, Luther is running away from Ethan. Like, Ethan escapes from being tortured, and somehow he managed to bring this gigantic fucking bomb underneath the London Underground, navigate a maze, and put it down.
Why?
Well, you know what else is kind of dumb about this, right? Luther has created the virus thing, right? That's going to drive the entity into the vault, right? So he's got it, and it's on a memory stick, and he gives it to Ethan, right? And Ethan's like, "Nah, you keep it for now." Terminally sick man who's largely unprotected, and then just leaves it on him while he passes out from his treatment or whatever. And then Gabriel goes in, murders the nurse, takes the fucking like memory stick off him, and then puts the giant nuke next to him. I'm breathless just thinking about all this stupidity.
But like, am I crazy?
stupid.
Like, why didn't he just kill Luther? What was the point of all of that?
I don't know.
Because
I
he
don't
needed
understand it.
Luther to say to Ethan, "Oh, he wants you alive," even though Ethan already knew that.
Yeah.
But the stunts
know.
were good. At least the stunts were good.
The stunts were nice.
There's not that many. There's
There's
only
not?
him on the plane
There's
and
so
him in a
much more
submarine.
talking. So much talking in this film.
Because I've
And
seen
it's all-
Cruise go everywhere to all these theaters around the country, around the U.S., and he's, they've been talking about the stunts.
You know, the problem is like he will put all this work into doing stunts that don't look like they're stunts. For example, hanging off the biplane. Like, I think he did a lot of that for real.
Yeah, he did.
But the way it's shot, it kind of looks like it isn't. It's the same as that previous one where he did the motorcycle jump off the mountainside, right? One, we had it spoiled for us because we'd seen it in like so much promotional material. Like, holy shit, Tom Cruise like rode his bike off a mountain. But also, like, when it's shot like from the drones and stuff, it looks like it might as well have just been CGI. And it's kind of the same with the plane. Like, I feel like you could have just had that against a green screen in a wind tunnel or something, and it would have had the same effect. But that's what they hung the entire finale of the movie on, this like absurd action sequence.
I also think, like, because some people will say it's a Mission Impossible movie. Do you really need the writing to be that solid compared to as long as the stunts are good? It's like, well, when the writing's better, I care way more about the action scenes. You know, the bathroom sequence, right, with Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise versus that dude. It's like that scene's fucking awesome. And it's not just because Fallout, I think, is one of the best written Mission Impossible movies, but it's also just an awesome series of stunts. But yeah, I would prefer to understand the plot. I would prefer to think there's a chance our heroes could lose instead of just being like, what the hell is going on?
I like how you have to make that statement. Like, I would prefer to understand the plot of this movie.
I mean, I was paying attention and I was getting lost with the amount of technobabble nonsense with the AI,
It's all, yeah, and like I say earlier, like, because they know there's so much shit going on, there's so many MacGuffins that they have to juggle. They have to do exposition dumps constantly to just keep reminding the audience what's happening and why and what everyone has to do. And it's you can feel how much the plot is straining under this, how much the script is straining to explain itself. And again, it's just, it didn't have to be as complicated as this. Even the fucking bit with the submarine where they go over this insane plot about how they have to triangulate the position and how everyone has to be in the exact place at the correct time to like chainsaw through the ice to get them out. It didn't have to be as complicated as that, man.
Well, they used to do stuff like that, Drinker. They used to do stuff like that to give it that realism effect, to get people to buy in. But it just sounds like it didn't work.
Yeah. It's just they overcomplicated it and they made it just absurd to the point of just you can't get invested in it so much anymore. Like, you feel tension when there's a believability to an action scene, or oh, is he going to make it out of this? You don't get that here because it's so cartoonishly over the top.
It sounds almost like a ride.
But even if you don't care about the story, you don't care about the characters, in terms of action to exposition, there's like 3, maybe 4 action scenes in a 3-hour movie.
Oh.
Wow. So everyone just kept drifting off. Nobody gives a shit.
It just felt like we got re-explanations a lot of the time too. When he's captured by the government and has to explain everything to all those like higher ups and stuff. I remember that whole scene. I was just like, I already know all of this. Like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And then we'll be in like, we're not going to let you do anything, Ethan. And I was like, yeah, you are. That's what the rest of the film.
We all know you're going to let me have my aircraft carrier. He didn't need a fucking aircraft carrier for that either.
No.
Like a fucking speedboat would have been enough. It's like... I honestly think it was just like Tom Cruise was like, we filmed on aircraft carriers for Top Gun Maverick. Can we do that again? I mean, yeah, sure, okay.
I like how the government just keeps lending Tom Cruise military equipment.
Well, I mean, he's the biggest fucking recruitment tool imaginable for the US government. Like, how many guys probably signed up to the Navy after Top Gun? Damn.
Like, do we need this for the Middle East or China? Nah, Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite lines in the whole film is when he says to all of the most powerful people in the room, "You'd be insane to trust me, and that's why you absolutely should."
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like, what?
It's a running theme throughout this movie where it's like the entity expects us to distrust each other. The entity expects you to do X, Y, and Z, and that's why you need to do the opposite. And most of the time they're like, no, fuck off. Like, the opposite is insane. I'm just going to do what makes sense. And so nobody trusts him. And that's, he only gets a big breakthrough when someone does the unexpected, basically, and trusts him.
Yeah, does the unexpected and has insanely good odds. Like when he jumped out of the helicopter, slammed into the fucking ocean, and was like, hopefully I've landed where the submarine is. And the submarine's like, yeah, we're here. And it was like, wow, based on fucking nothing, you just happened to fall in the right place. That's great.
Yeah.
Feels like a bit of intervention. Didn't it was weird. That room of like government officials was filled with so many good actors. I recognize like all of them. And
we got Nick Offerman in there.
Yeah. Oh man, he played General Man, and General Man was set up to maybe be the one that would disagree with the president, but General Man turns out to be the one that defended that president, and he got killed for it.
Sure is lucky that he requested a sidearm, wasn't it? God.
Yeah. Did anyone else find it amusing where basically like some random dude tries to kill the president because she's decided not to nuke the world? And Nick Offerman has to shoot that guy before that guy could shoot her. But unfortunately, that guy shoots Nick Offerman as well. And they have this as like a really big reveal, like, oh no, General Man, he's been shot. And then he like sort of walks over to a chair, sits down, and then she goes, oh no, General. And then he just goes, Madam President.
Like,
It's just like, what are we
who
doing?
gives a shit?
Sounds like G20.
So sad
God,
about
yeah.
General Man. General Man's gone. And the other dude in the room, he's in loads of things, but Mindhunter's like the main thing I remember him from. The camera like zooms into him at one point in the third act, and he says, "We're in the entity's reality now, and this is the end game."
Yeah.
I was like, this is killing me.
Everyone talks like they're in a movie trailer, basically.
I don't know what happened, because Fallout's Riot is so much better than this, but it's the same people. Christopher McQuarrie is the main writer for both these films.
It's just
Yeah.
technology. They just don't understand it. They're just
Old men.
boomers.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But it's like they don't even understand humans now. Which
Yeah.
is funny because they are technically humans, so you'd think they'd be okay at writing dialogue, but oh man, yeah.
Boo, basically. Very disappointing, and I wasn't actually expecting a lot because I didn't like Dead Reckoning.
Yeah. I'd hope for more. And fuck man, I've got this feeling Tom Cruise is gonna come back and do another one.
Really.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Because
I think particularly if it does badly, I think he'll come back wanting to like set the record straight and like go out on a high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, didn't he? As you said, he wants to play it like Indiana Jones to keep coming back. But we
Right.
all know how Indiana Jones ended. His
Yeah,
son
we
died.
do.
He was a wreck. His family was destroyed.
I think as well, like they probably should lean into the fact that like he's getting pretty old now, but they really don't. Like this is just treated as business as usual. He's just Ethan Hunt, like still kicking ass and doing all the usual stuff. Like there's never a point where he's like, you know, he's slowing down a little bit or he's struggling to keep up with things. It's like, no, he's just Tom Cruise, like still
Yeah.
sprinting. There's so many scenes of him running. It's like they embraced the meme.
On that note, there's nothing in this film, like thematically or character work wise, that implies it's the ending of the franchise. It really is just
No,
another chapter. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you could, if another film comes out, you could easily skip these two.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah, I
wouldn't
think
have
so.
any effect.
You might be
Other than
wondering,
Luther.
where's Luther?
Well, you just explain that the bad guy had 2 nuclear bombs just carrying around.
Because they've already got a replacement for him, and it's like, okay, well, cool. The team is just like back to full strength again.
Because
Sure.
yeah, like a lot of the Mission Impossible films do end with the team sort of celebrating how well they did, and then a phone call comes in. It's like, Ethan, we've got a package, and blah blah blah. Are you ready? And then it's like, dun dun
Oh,
dun
yeah.
dun. And it'll go to credits. That's pretty much the ending for this film too.
Did
Yeah,
they
they
show
don't-
his wife? Because you know how they were showing his wife
No.
every once in a while.
She's not in this one.
Yeah.
So
Oh well.
yeah,
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I wish we could have brought you better news about Mission Impossible, but
Sounds
Yeah, it's pretty
hilarious
shit.
though.
It's long, man. It's a long movie.
yeah,
It's the same. It's the same length, isn't it? Same runtime as the last one.
it's longer. I think.
Well, I
This is
felt
close
this
to 3
one.
hours.
It felt longer.
Ooh.
It's all the exposition. It's because like if you cut the exposition dumps out, it'd probably be like an hour long. It's like it's just
Well, I mean-
people constantly explaining what's happened.
You get that entity quotes expo dump, then you get the one from the videotape, then you get like him with his team, and then you get him with the entity, and then you get him with the government, and then you get him on the submarine and on the helicopter and on the aircraft carrier, having to explain the situation to fucking everybody in the entire goddamn movie. It's just like, why can't we skip these parts?
But then it gets worse because it splits, and Simon Pegg's team is having exposition as Tom Cruise is having exposition. So you got 2
Yeah.
people just talking about plans. Like, he
Stop
goes, like-
planning things.
What was that guy they meet from the first movie? And he goes, "Oh yeah, I remembered when that submarine blew up, and I destroyed it for no reason, the records, and memorized them."
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And he was still using floppy disks in 2012, apparently. Yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah, because they never got the system updated, you know?
Again, it's fucking old men trying to do like technology. This is what happens.
It's all analog, bro.
Yeah.
But again,
Do you
the
have-
entity is just stupid. That's the biggest problem. Is that its
Very
plan
stupid.
makes no sense, and how
Yeah.
it goes about it is even worse.
There's a part where like Gabriel has control over that area in wherever that whole like server room is, and we see his men start getting taken down because it's the IMF or whatever, the government have taken over the area. Like, oh my god! Then they have their expo dump scene, and while they're talking, Gabriel's backup men start taking out
Yeah.
the men who took out Gabriel's men. I thought that shit was so funny.
It's like it's
It's like, where were they?
Gordian
I don't
knot
know.
of like guys just constantly taking each other out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah,
shall we-
and I was gonna say Benji gets shot, and it's like it doesn't really, it's like, okay, oh god, what's gonna happen? It's like he's fine. They're not gonna
I
kill him
never
too.
thought for one
Yeah.
second he wouldn't make it. It's like,
No.
nah, they're not going to get rid of Simon Pegg. They've killed Luther because he's old, but like Pegg's got a few more years left in him.
Well, I think that's the clear reason why they killed Luther and not Peg is because Peg can run around. That's it.
Yeah, Luther's just like this big wobbly.
He sits
Little
down in
mess.
like all of his Mission Impossible scenes. He's always sitting.
Well, he could have
Yeah.
kept him and put him in those fat scooters where everyone's running and he's just behind them, just
If this
riding.
was Doctor Who, right, they could have had machine guns and rocket launchers and stuff attached to like the
Yeah,
wheelchair.
man.
He's like a
Just
mecha.
spinning around, firing at people.
It's like, Luther, you gotta get to the building in time. He's like, I'm on my way, Ethan.
I'm handy capable. I'm just like rolling upstairs and shit.
He has a helicopter propeller out the back of his fat scooter and he just flies up.
It's like water capable as well, like a submarine scooter.
It's an all-purpose scooter. It goes out of space and he's flying.
Oh, Jesus.
That's the one
Shall
thing they
we,
didn't do is take Mission Impossible to space. Maybe in the future.
Fast and
That'll
Furious
be
did.
nice.
Well, he's working on that film with Musk. He's got one with Anna de Armas that they're calling Deeper right now, where it's going to basically be the abyss, and then the one where he goes to space.
Oh my God, he's gone to from the lowest of the lows to the highest of the highs.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just do a couple of super chats here before we go on. Paul Bertanowski says, "Curse you, drinker! I'd made my piece on Disney Star Wars, but your review of Andor convinced me to watch it, and I loved it. So you have burdened me with the hope of Star Wars being great again, knowing this was but a fleeting moment of happiness." Yeah, don't expect any good stuff.
Yeah, hope is dead.
Like, I think this was probably just a blip, but enjoy it while it lasted. It was nice. I did like this one as well. Where is it? What's this? Yeah, sounds like Fast and the Furiously Mission Impossible. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it is. It's gone down the Fast and the Furious route of just silliness.
It really didn't
Yeah.
need to, but oh well.
I miss floppy hair, drinker. What a time to be alive. There's no pleasing you people. It's like spike it up and you're mad. Flop it down and it's like you're still mad. Damn it. Remember the Avengers when John Steed and Emma Peel would squash a clandestine group's diabolical plans via rudimentary investigation, quaffing copious amounts of champagne and ending it in a minor scuffle. Simpler times. Indeed, yeah. This is the Hollywood version though, baby. Yeah, I mean, I know we've done Mission Impossible. It's kind of like a double whammy of like horrible content because I just got done watching the latest episode of Last of Us and I actually feel depressed after watching that fucking show. Like, I actively hate
so
it now.
boring.
Yeah, it's like this is it. This is the penultimate episode, right? We've got one more, and then
One
we're done.
more, thank fuck.
Yeah,
She's gonna shoot the pregnant lady, and then I can stop watching.
Yes, because holy crap, I hate Ellie. I actually despise that character now, and every passing scene and every passing episode that I have to spend with her, I hate her a little bit more. And the weird thing is, this was arguably the least bad episode of this entire season.
Yeah,
mostly
true.
because it was Joel. It was Joel centric, and we are living in strange times where one, we want something to be not accurate to the source material, and two, we want more Pedro Pascal and
Wow.
something. Like, how's this
No
happening?
Pedro. No Pedro.
Whether or not you like the dialogue or the way that they do in the story, like he's acting circles around everybody in the show.
Yes.
It's not even close.
I mean that finale scene when they're on the porch. He's acting up a storm there. He is doing really good work with that material. But the thing is, all it does is shine a giant spotlight on what shit actress she is in comparison. And yeah, holy crap! Like his presence in the show is so important to making that work, and without him, it's fucked.
Yeah, because even the brief moments of them chatting again, I was like, man, this is a strict upgrade from basically every other conversation that's been had in this season so far. I don't think it was that good or anything. It's just it was just way more interesting again, like talking about because the episode's about like parenthood, right?
Yes.
I was detecting a theme for the first time in the whole season.
Was it the intro with his dad when he was a kid?
Yes,
By any
and then
chance?
the line that they have at the beginning and the end of the episode, and I was like, "Oh my god, look at them go! They've managed to upgrade themselves all the way to trying to make a point." I
Yeah.
didn't realize we were still doing that. Can I just note though, the guy who played the husband of the therapist lady, he's in a bunch of stuff. I think his name is
Ralph
Joe-
from Sopranos.
No, Joe
Pan-
Pantoliano.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he's
was really
Cypher from The
good.
Matrix.
I thought he was really good.
I mean,
Like for the brief amount of time he was in the show, I was just surprised that like
I was surprised that they played him so pathetic. You know, I kind of wanted him to go out with a little bit more dignity or something, but like, okay, sure.
well, do you mean like get a bit more angry at Joel or
Well, it's just like the bit where he's like, you know, when they first meet him and he's been bitten and stuff. Like, I kind of wanted him to be more, I almost like more assertive with what he wants. It's like, okay, I know I'm done for, and you know, this is it for me. You can at least let me go back to the settlement and say goodbye to my wife. I know this has to happen. I know we're gonna have to put me down, but like at least let me do that. But he's just so timid and pathetic, and I don't know, man. It just the way it plays out just didn't feel right.
I mean, I thought it was really funny when he pulled a gun with no fucking bullets on Joel. He was like, "You gonna take me?" And it's like, "It's out," and he's like, "Oh."
Again, it's like, are we supposed to take this guy seriously? I'm not really sure.
That's
like,
what I was getting at with that. I was like, that was kind of funny, which is weird right now. Not sure
Yeah.
if we want to go with that.
I know, it's just like, holy fuck, Joe Pantoliano looks really old now.
He does, yeah, but I guess he is.
But I mean, yeah, I mean that scene when Joel leads him down to the shore, and it's like, okay, you know, we kind of know what's going to happen next. It's decent. It's decent acting between two good actors. That's nice. It's probably the best that we get out of this show now.
Yeah,
and it's like the one scene that Ellie isn't in, which is interesting.
But the worst thing is when he takes Ellie back to the Jackson, and he explains to the wife, "Oh, he got bit. He killed himself. He said he loved you." And then Ellie, being the absolute bitch she is, goes, "No, Joel shot him in the fucking head."
Yeah, she is.
So
fully like I went like that's when I went to actively hating her as a
you
character.
can tell the show is on her side for that one. I was quite surprised by that. I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, admittedly, yeah, Joel quote unquote lied to her about a promise. But the thing is, like, what good does it do to tell the wife what happened, like one to one, as opposed to the story that Joel tells her?
Yeah, what should have happened is Joel tells her the lie, he leaves, and then she's angry. That would be much better. But no, she goes, "No, Joel's a liar. Killed your husband. He wanted to see you, couldn't. His final moments were horrible."
It was so
What a
cruel
bitch.
to that woman to tell her all of that. I was like, damn.
And it's like, but then, like you say, the show is on her side. It wants us to empathize with her. But I don't. I hate her. She's a horrible person. She is like, throughout this episode, she is just like a little bitch to him constantly. The older she gets, the more of an asshole she becomes.
I was expecting a scene later where she shouts at him for lying and doing all whatever, not that she would tell the grieving widow immediately that the worst nightmare that she could have has come true. It's like, okay.
I'm gonna say as well, like, as much as I don't like the game, I can at least give it credit for like some of the performances in that game are fantastic. Like the actual scene where Ellie finds out the truth about what Joel did, like the voice acting, the mocap, and everything, it is really well done.
Well, I mean, appreciation to Ashley Johnson. She's fantastic.
Yeah, she does a great job, and she
annoying.
Really captures that feeling of like, oh my god, like you literally like snuffed out the chance for the human race to like survive. For me, what a horrible thing to have put on me. Like the enormity of it settles on her incredibly well. This version of Ellie, again, I don't know. Bella Ramsey can't deliver what they need from her. She can't deliver anything like the kind of performance and the gravitas that she needs to.
It's kind of the sad thing about The Last of Us 2 is they had extremely talented people delivering a fucking horrendous script.
Yeah,
because Joel doesn't get to defend himself in this either. When he tells the truth about the Fireflies, he doesn't. All he says, even he says they could have made a cure. It's like, you didn't fucking know that. That's not true at all. It's like, I love how much they want it to be canon, but it ain't. we saw what happened. Have you heard about this? That Neil Druckmann has even made a statement publicly saying, like, no, they definitely could. It's like, that's not the game you made, buddy. Like,
And
you
he
go
said-
fucking watch that game scenes. Go listen to the. Don't you find an audio thing in the game, in the first game, that says they don't know that this is going to work for sure?
They've tried it on other girls, and it
Yeah.
hasn't worked. But then not just that, he said, "Oh, Joel was actually right in the end." I go, "Well, that's not what you made in the sequel.
No,
The
it's
sequel is entirely him being an asshole."
it's so annoying.
But the
And because of the
thing
lack
that-
of defenses
Sorry, go
too, it makes it sound like he's kind of a psycho. When if you watch it play out, even if it was a guaranteed cure, by the way, which it wasn't, I still think he was in the right for the way that they do everything, how it all runs down, right? Like taking his shit, beating him, telling them they have no choice, doing it from Ellie being unconscious. It's like, sorry, you've made a whole bunch of decisions here where it's like you don't get. Also, the Fireflies having full control of it was never a comfortable position, politically speaking, and getting the cure out there only helped with the spores in the game. Barely even helps with the fact that there's killer monsters running around that eat you to death.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what they did to Jackson. You know,
Yeah,
just a
and the
few
cure
episodes
doesn't
ago.
help you with that. The cure doesn't do anything for that.
Well, you won't get infected, but you can still get fucking pummeled to death or eaten.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not it's not a fix for
And
everything.
I just can't believe how many mediums I have to watch Joel be soy, like, and not defend his choice at all. It's like, fucking hell,
Yeah.
I want this to stop. I'm tired of this shit.
This is
Did
what I mean,
anyone
man.
else-
Sorry.
Did anyone else laugh when he's trying to parent Ellie and he goes, "This is my house," and she goes, "No, it isn't. They gave it to you because
Yeah,
they're
you-
communists."
That was lame.
Yeah, it's like you don't own anything, and I was like, is the show actually trying to be critical of communism here, saying, well, this is the downside of communism because you don't fucking
You have
own
no
anything. So
authority.
you
Well, so
yeah, exactly. Or is it like trying to teach him a lesson? Like
she might be
I think-
accurate in that they were provided the house, but he should have thrown like, "You're my responsibility, so
Yeah,
shut the fuck up."
exactly.
Like, but he doesn't get to. They don't let it. They don't write him that way. He's not allowed to actually pull a parent card, which is weird because the whole episode's about parenthood. I thought that they kind of they just went lame with that shit. Like they
Well,
didn't
it's
want to go
worse.
further.
Well, he's a cock. He's been completely cucked throughout
Yeah.
this entire show. That's like that. There's been a concerted effort to make him a fucking pussy throughout this. He's emotionally unstable. He never knows what to do. He's always crying. He's always upset. He can never defend himself. He can never assert himself over Ellie, even as a parent role.
Well, that's supposed to be him learning to be a better parent because was it Lalo from Breaking Bad
Yeah,
or Better Call Saul? He says you'll be a better parent, but then what does Joel do? She goes, "I want to get tattoos. I want to have unprotected sex with strangers. I want to try drugs." And he goes, "Well, I guess you just need your own space to do all that."
Yeah.
yeah. They had their opportunity to actually have him be assertive, be responsible as a parent. He just gives up, and their idea is like, yeah, because he's a better parent than his dad. It's like, that's not at all what that is. That's
In fact,
This guy hits the nail on the head here. I bet you the writers of this have never been parents before, and they don't fucking understand any of the responsibilities behind that or the idea of authority, especially not male authority. And so they just can't do it. They can't conceptualize that in their writing.
you know
Well, The
what's
Last
crazy
of Us-
is
I was going to say, The Last of Us Part 2 treats children horrendously with Mel. Mel endangers an 8-month pregnant kid by going on the front lines. How evil is that? And then you have Dina. She's pregnant. She's endangering herself and the baby. It absolutely hates infants.
It's a little bit rude of you. You saying that pregnant women can't go on the front lines?
Yes,
Exactly.
that's exactly what I'm saying.
That's the thing. Like that was their overriding concern there. It was to show that not only are women so fucking awesome that they can outperform men, but they can do it while heavily pregnant as well. They are that damn good.
Insanity.
But they never once thought about the consequences or the repercussions of that. It's like, is there a moral dimension to like having a woman go out and potentially get killed when she's pregnant? Nah, don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't think about it.
Okay,
It's okay.
you've met plenty of pregnant women, heavily pregnant women who want to go to war. Like, come on.
Oh, sure, yeah. Like they make the best soldiers actually because, like, they're bigger, and
Bulletproof.
so they're harder to
They're
kill,
big.
right? They can absorb more bullets.
They have a protective shield.
The stream went down a dark path.
Oh god.
This
Oh, wow.
fucking show, man. This is what it does. It brings out the worst in humanity.
I
Because
stopped
it is
watching
the
after,
worst in humanity. I hate it.
I stopped
Didn't
watching
you-
after he was killed. I was like, I was done with it.
You know,
Didn't
I
Neil
saw-
Cookman say he said he
saw-
needed 3 seasons, 3 more seasons, so we have this one and 2 more.
It won't
Um,
make it. I think
I
I can
saw-
see it getting cancelled.
Yeah,
the
no.
clip of him finding out the drugs and the being with that other girl. I saw like commentary on it saying Joel's not bigoted. You shouldn't think of him that way. He's just from a different generation. He doesn't understand what Ellie's doing. And I was like, even with how badly it's done, there are people who think he was too harsh as a parent in that scene. I
What?
was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, he barely did anything.
We're doomed. We're fucking doomed as a species if
I
these
was-
are the retards that think this is what parenting should be.
I was struck by like a wave of cringe when he said, "We'll talk about this later when you're yourself." I was like,
And he
"What?
stormed out.
What? What? What's funny is that the argument that he's from an older generation and so blah, blah, I was like, yeah, that's why he should be way better at this than being like, oh, I don't understand. I'm going.
Well, the messaging is wrong because he hit his kids in the beginning. Joel's dad beat both him and Tommy, and look how they turned out. They were good fathers. And Joel doesn't hit Ellie, and look how she's turned out into a complete bitch.
I would appreciate some discipline ever, right? He doesn't even give her discipline, and then she's like, I
No.
want to leave.
He's not
I
allowed
wanna-
to. He's
I wanna
never
be my
allowed
own
to.
person.
Right from the beginning of their relationship, like she has always been the more assertive one, and he can never really like win in anything. He can never be the one who knows what to do, and she's lost or whatever. And it's not how that father-daughter relationship is supposed to work. If you start her off from a position of strength, there's nowhere for her to go as a character.
Yeah, she has
And,
full
like-
control over their relationship throughout all of this season.
And and like I kept waiting throughout this for some big breakdown scene. You know how like she watches Joel get killed, and you get that stupid moment where she wakes up in the next episode and just screaming, like so we can showcase the amazing acting talent that she's got. And then after that, she's fine, right? And then she's just like cracking jokes with Dina. She's all like happy and upbeat, and like everything seems cool. If anything, Dina's the one who has to keep cajoling her into doing like this revenge thing. And I kept thinking, right, this has got to be her hiding some kind of like inner pain. Like eventually it's all going to come out and she's going to break down. You're going to realize she's been faking all this the whole time. But then I realized slowly the horrifying truth. She's fine with it. She's
Yeah.
over it. And
Well-
she just doesn't care. Like none of it matters to her.
I
She's
think
a
they
fucking
want us to
psychopath.
think because they have that final shot where she's heading to the area where she's going to kill a bunch of people. That all that's on her mind is Joel's death. But you're right. The majority of the scenes post his death are played pretty normal with Dina.
When her and Dina are traveling through Seattle, like they're just
Yeah.
cracking jokes, they're chatting to each other and stuff. And I never got the impression for 1 second, like this is a girl who's just on a revenge trip and she almost doesn't care if she makes it out alive. She just wants to kill Abby. Never got
It's
that.
worse
That
than
was
that
a,
because... Sorry. I was going to say it's worse than that because they're in the middle of a war zone. You've got scars, you've got infected, you've got the WLF, and they're talking out loud in the streets. They're not
Yeah.
even taking the situation they're in seriously, even if they don't care about Joel anymore. It's like you would think the danger of where you are would force you to take it seriously. And yet they're just talking about let's scissor.
yeah. That sex scene actually almost made me throw up. I had to like fast forward through it. It's like I can't.
Oh, you talking about the
can't
one
watch
where
this.
they find out she's infected and then have sex? That
Yeah.
gross scene. Yeah.
Why? It's like going, I've got AIDS. I'm pregnant. Let's fuck.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
that was so stupid. And then she goes, I'm gonna be a dad. And I'm like, you've only just been in a relationship for what, like 2 days?
Yeah, like Dina's already talking about being in love with Ellie and shit. Like, really? You barely even know her. You've spent
Yeah.
like a couple
yeah,
of
and-
days together.
And if you remember the timeline, it was the day before that Joel asked him if they're even together, and she was like, "No." But now you're what? Married broadly? It's just like, okay.
she's gonna be a dad. Like,
It's
Oh,
gonna be
man.
funny how they deal with the Asian simp because they're not like they
Deal
don't
with
want to
him.
have. Well, we know how they deal with him.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got about 2 minutes of screen time left. I'd imagine.
Because they knew it's cowardly, because they knew that was an issue. Does the father have a right to know? And the obvious answer is yes. But Neil Cookman goes, nah, I think I have a solution to this three-way.
I've got a 9mm solution to this problem.
Do you remember in the marketing where they showed Joel turning up to help Ellie in the game?
Oh yeah, that was
And then in
Oh,
reality,
fuck.
it was actually that guy,
Yeah.
Jesse. That shit was so fucking devious.
It wasn't false advertisement. We were just trying to trick you. That is false advertisement.
We
Yeah.
know exactly what you were fucking doing. There's no need to try and sugarcoat it.
I don't even know how they're going to have Abby fight Ellie, because already they've shown Ellie take on grown men. They've shown her boxing. They've shown her beat a guy who's like 6'2", and she overpowered the other guy and stabbed him in the throat.
Well, her challenges aren't much left. She's got to kill a pregnant lady next, and that's it.
But then
Shit.
Abby is going to
And a
fight
dog.
one-on-one with Ellie, and we've already seen Ellie. She's the fighter, not Abby, because
never see
Abby was on
that.
steroids in the game. That's how she could fight.
I mean,
said-
yeah, but like they might still imply that Abby's a really good fighter in this, like because we haven't seen her like really take on anyone physically.
You try punching Bella Ramsey in the head. Her head's like a brick. She's going to break her knuckles. It's like punching a stone block.
Because we got one episode left. Are we even going to get to like the Abby stuff?
It'll be the shootout, like where Abby has Dina hostage, I think, because that's where it all culminates, and then that's when
Yeah,
the
'cause
game switches over to like
they've
Abby's
actually-
POV.
They've actually got to do a lot in one episode. They've got to get her to to that place where they all exist. She's got to kill everyone there, come back. Abby's got to capture and kill everybody, and then they have their big fight scene.
Well, yeah, but maybe they'll
Shoot
speedrun
Tommy.
that and merge all that into one.
That's true. They could merge all of it, yeah.
But yeah,
And then we get the season 3, which is all about Abby.
is that definitely happening? Is that
It
definitely?
Yeah,
seems to be confirmed from like all different
It's in
sources. so,
production.
yeah. And they want to do 4 seasons in total now, right?
What will be the
Why?
fourth?
But they're dragging well, if you remember right, if you do Ellie's side, then Abby's side, you still got that whole sequence that feels like the fucking 10th act in the game where Ellie
Oh,
goes
the
to kill
farm?
Abby. Yeah, you got that too.
With
So
the
you could theoretically have a 4th fucking season with that, yeah.
Oh my god, it's going to be 4 hours of them in the farm with the baby.
Yeah, well,
just
and they're-
farming.
and they're gonna enjoy fucking the shit out of Tommy as well. That's on the way.
Well,
yeah.
what's
he's
going to be the
barely even
reason?
in it.
'Cause in the game, Tommy went ahead and got revenge. That was the highlight of the game when he shot Manny in the head.
Oh, it was great.
The problem is he left without Maria's permission because he's a cook in this one, so he didn't. He's now being sent to chase Ellie. So is he going to be abandoned by Maria at the end of the game or what? Because
Maybe.
every dad has been destroyed. There's no way Tommy's walking away unscathed.
Oh no, I think they're gonna do exactly what they do to him in the game.
But
Cripple him.
Maria has got no justification. She sent him to get Ellie.
But
Because
they can always change it to he's a changed man. He's obsessed with revenge. He's angry. He's just I couldn't stay with him.
Potato.
Oh my God,
Imagine
a Rogue One reference. Oh my God.
Imagine she digs up a ground and it's just Bella Ramsey's face. It's just a field of Bella Ramsey's going, hey, hey.
It's when she put the space helmet on, I felt like she was struggling to get it over her head a little bit. Oh god, this show, man. Honestly, like I say, it is the worst of us. It's just bringing out
The worst of us.
I'll tell you what, though,
terrible.
there's good news on the horizon, though, right? You know, we talked about the Tomb Raider show that was in development by Amazon, and then the rumor going around was that it's all been cancelled. It wasn't happening after like years of development under Phoebe Waller-Bridge. They weren't doing anything. But now it seems like it might actually be going ahead because Sophie Turner is in training to play Lara Croft. She was showing off her physique there. I mean, she seems to be missing a couple of Lara Croft
Yeah, she needs boobs.
attributes, yeah, which is unfortunate. But yeah, like as far as I understand, there's an article here saying, despite recent reports claiming that Prime Video's live-action Tomb Raider series had been shelved, there might be life in the project yet. Despite Phoebe Waller-Bridge being tapped to write the show and Sophie Turner signing on to play Lara Croft, we got word earlier this year that the series had been shelved, which was undoubtedly a good idea because ain't nothing good going to come out of that. But apparently this was down to the scripts taking longer than anticipated to finish, and Turner was said to have moved on to other projects. However, scooper Daniel Richtman has heard that the Tomb Raider show is still very much alive. But yeah, so Sophie Turner shared this picture of her physique for training for the show, and it might actually be going ahead after all. Which, I mean, it's a bold move. Like, let's see if it pays off for them, you know?
But she can't ask to save her life.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue. Is that
she can't. Not believable.
She's just not been very good at anything.
It's like Bella Ramsey. Come on, you know,
is
from the Game of
Phoebe
Thrones
Waller-Bridge
show.
still attached?
No,
Or she's not attached at all?
Well, the
Not by what
rumor
I
was
understand.
that Sophie Turner had actually moved on to some other projects, but apparently she's now back. And yeah, as far as I know, Phoebe Waller-Bridge might actually still be involved in it as well. Which
I thought she was let go. I thought when what's her name got replaced and left.
No, because Phoebe Waller-Bridge had recently re-signed for another contract with them, and it was like another 20 million deal. Because she just keeps renewing it every couple of years, but not actually producing anything, which is a great deal, I think, from her perspective.
Yeah, hasn't she been collecting that since 2019 or something?
Yeah, it's been a long time, and I don't think there's much that's actually come out of it. I don't know, man. How many times can you renew a person's contract where they don't actually do anything for you?
Well, J.J. Abrams got $500 million and hasn't done anything.
Thank God.
That's probably for the good, yeah. Maybe they're actually paying him not to do anything. Please don't make anything, JJ.
I've been sticking with Mobland. I've been enjoying that.
Oh, that is good. Yeah, that's some good stuff.
I haven't watched it. I heard it's good, though.
Yeah.
Which one?
I'd say it's the best thing on TV right now.
Oh, yeah. And they renewed it. It's got season 2 coming out. Says same cast.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Love Mobland.
It's a hell of a good cast on it.
I just wish he would finish Taboo season 2, which he had always promised.
It's been so long.
Yeah.
Could I just read out this one as well? This is a £200 super chat from Jay Fraser. So thank you, my friend. Hail, gents. Thanks to the fellowship for this month's distraction. My great friend Kenny Stevenson was finally laid to rest. Fuck cancer. He introduced me to your YouTube channels. Advice to my nerds. For fuck's sake, write a will and include your massive physical media collection. A toast for Kenny. Absolutely, man. And I'm very sorry to hear about your friend. Rest in peace. Yeah. But here's a toast to him, man.
To Kenny.
And absolutely, as much as it sounds like a thing that you don't need to do, get wills sorted. You never know what can happen.
Yeah, but it might sound like a threat. Listen, you need to get your will.
Yeah.
Now.
Something might happen to you soon.
I wonder if that applies to digital as well.
Can you own it? I mean...
Do you own it?
Do you own it, or do you just have a license to watch it?
If I were to die, what happens to my Steam library?
Ooh.
Those are the things that are going to keep you up at night, MauLer. Truly. But yeah, the other thing that I was going to look at here was the emergency reshoots that are apparently being done on Fantastic Four.
Yes.
After Pedro came out.
Heard the rumors, yeah. Apparently, a lot of them seem to focus now. Yeah, Pedro.
You saw that clip?
Oh, yeah. I was like, I can't bring myself to play this on open bar.
No.
Dude just needs to come out. He might as well come out the closet, man. We know. But yeah, this one the reshoots seem to be focusing on the Silver Surfer character, and a lot of them seem to be trying to humanize her. Basically showing how she got converted into the Silver Surfer. So you're going to see her in human form before she was turned. Which is, okay.
So they're going to do the Norman
that's the
Rad.
rumor, anyway.
They're going to do that, Norman Rad storyline basically to her?
It might be, yeah. I mean, I'm not an expert on them, but it says here, the reshoots follow Feige's failed rebranding of Thunderbolts to New Avengers. Yeah, didn't work out great. Teasing the Fantastic Four in the post-credit scene, which we know. Thunderbolts is currently bombing at the box office. Yeah, the rumor is it's not even going to make it to 400 million, which is bad.
Dude, so many people said, who covered is this one will easily make its money back because it's so good. It's like, what are you talking about? Why
Thunder hugs?
say these things?
Yeah, Thunder Hugs, no way. It's going to make less than Eternals. I guarantee.
Yeah,
the
and
gross.
it's not a cheap movie. Like it was 200 million roughly to make. So yeah, it still needs a hefty amount.
It was also bad.
I mean, how much do you think Mission? Because Mission Impossible comes out tonight here everywhere, and tomorrow plus Lilo and Stitch, so they're going to bury it. I think
that's
Thunder
true.
Hugs is over.
But that is the one thing we didn't actually mention. What do you guys think the box office potential for Mission Impossible is?
I think it's worse than Dead Reckoning.
I think it'll do about 500 million.
Yeah.
I think
is that better or worse than Dead Reckoning?
I think Dead Reckoning was that 600?
Is that flopped, isn't it? Dead Reckoning.
It was considered a flop. It came out when Barbenheimer was kind of at its peak, so it just got swallowed up by that.
Yeah. Dead Reckoning grossed 571 million worldwide.
Right, yeah, so shy of 600. Yeah, I think this will do slightly less. I think it'll do about 500. Maybe the allure of just like it being the last one potentially will draw people in.
I don't know about repeat viewings though. Who's going to want to see all that again? You know?
Yeah.
Well, think about it. Sinners is still going strong. I mean, Sinners just crossed 300 million. I mean, it's not going anywhere.
Well, yeah, but it's not exactly. It's not going to, you know.
No, it's not going to be
like Mission Impossible or anything. Yeah.
But it doesn't have anything to compete against. Like last time, it had Sound of Freedom, and it had what was it? Indiana Jones and.
Well,
it's
Lilo
probably
isn't going to do anything to to Mission Impossible, right? There's not much crossover there.
Mm-mm.
We'll see, I guess, but I'm not hopeful for it at all, which is kind of sad. As a sad note to end the Mission Impossible on, because you can. I'm assuming you guys got that message at the beginning from Tom Cruise.
Well. Yeah, is that just going to be
nice, Mr. Cruise? But the movie's not very good.
The thing is that going to be just standard procedure now on all his movies? Maybe, because I feel like he started doing that with Top Gun Maverick, and obviously that was a huge success. And then it's just like, okay, every single time you go to a Tom Cruise movie, you get a personal message from Tom Cruise.
As much as it's kind of funny, I think it's good practice.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's whatever.
I get the impression he means it as well. Like he seems to just really care about making the best movies he can, and just delivering a good experience from the audience. He doesn't always deliver, obviously, as we've just found out, but I think he at least tries. And
yes, I suppose it's
something good about that.
It's better than everyone telling you to go fuck yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, he looks great.
Pedro Pascal, anyone?
Yeah. He always looks grateful. That's Cruise. I think that's another reason people are attracted to him.
On camera, behind the scenes, where he was shouting at everyone during COVID was funny.
Yeah. I think that was kind of understandable, because if they got busted like breaking protocol, the whole movie would get shut down. And so that's potentially like tens of millions of dollars would get lost in delays and stuff. So I can see why, like, some random production guy potentially fucking up your multi-million-dollar movie is going to be pretty frustrating.
Yeah, he takes the whole thing really seriously, which is cool. It's just,
Did you see the footage of him like watching one of the sort of premieres of Mission Impossible, and like he's sitting there, and it's like he even eats popcorn, fucking intense.
Look at
he's like,
I've never seen anyone eat popcorn like that. It almost weirdly felt like, is he doing it because he's never ate popcorn before? He's like, this is how you do it. Yeah,
he's like, I like it.
But yeah, I was just reading this article here. So yeah, apparently leaked set pics featuring Julia Garner in her humanoid form as, and forgive the pronunciation here, Shala Bao from the planet Zen-La. Yeah, sure, okay. So apparently they are going to show her in humanoid form before she was turned into the Silver Surfer by Galactus. And the reason they want to do this is they want to have the audience identify more with her as a sort of anti-hero character rather than a straight-up villain. Because she's the female Silver Surfer, so she can't be bad. She has to be good, naturally. And that seems to be one of the main reasons for reshooting it. I don't know, man. This movie seems to have a bit of a bad sentiment lingering around it. I don't get the impression people were super excited for it. That first trailer landed fairly well, but after that,
it's got a bad smell around it. Especially with the Entertainment Weekly, when they, when she came out, the actress who's playing Invisible Girl is like, I'm not going to be the classic Sue Richards, mom of the 60s. It's going to be like about gender politics.
Yeah,
And then
I
the
did notice like when the Silver Surfer shows up, like she's the one who addresses her rather than Reed Richards. It's like, okay, we know who's in charge of this one clearly.
We also have the problem of he's the smartest guy alive, and you can't write a character who's more intelligent than you. Because as we remember from Multiverse of Madness, he was so clever, he warned Wanda about Black Bolt's strength.
Yeah.
Dude, have you heard the defense of that? It's like, no, that was the retard world. It made sense that he was retarded. All of them were retarded in that
What?
world.
Sure.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, why do people do this? Like, just stop.
Is it like Idiocracy where you go there and you're the smartest man, Reed Richards?
It made sense, damn it. Who's writing it? What's the history of the people who were writing Fantastic Four? I forget. I always forget.
Well, this movie.
As in, the guy who's behind this one.
It's from Disney and Kevin Feige. I don't know.
No, I know, but
yeah, I know. It's just they've gone crazy. Look, when you have the Human Torch, who's like not going to be a womanizer because the actor spoke to Kevin Feige and he's like, yeah, I don't think we should play him this way.
It's from the director of WandaVision.
So that's a great pedigree.
Yeah.
But listen to this, the list of people who wrote the screenplay, right? Jeff Kaplan, Ian Springer, Josh Friedman, Cameron Squires, Eric Pearson, and Peter Cameron.
It's a peanut gallery.
7 people worked on the screenplay for this movie.
No,
7
wait,
different people.
One of the writers did the story for Dark Fate. Terminator, Dark Fate.
Oh my god!
There you go.
That's your movie right there.
Superman's gonna clobber it, I think, because
Does
how many
anyone
people know Fantastic Four? Really, the audience
I think honestly, if I had to bet on one, it would be Superman.
Comes out July 11th. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, if I could go outside of that, it would be Jurassic World.
I was gonna say, I think Jurassic is the sure hit. The other two are gonna have to fight. I think.
Well, when's Jurassic World come out?
Does anyone else think
July? They're all
that
July.
Oh,
this plot will have problems because the original villain is supposed to be Kang, and Kang is a descendant of Reed Richards. He's Franklin Richards. So if he's pregnant in the story, I think the problem is that baby was going to play into the Kang storyline. But then Jonathan Majors hits his girlfriend, and then that's all gone. So I think they've had to like kind of rewrite it and try and get like a Doom version that won't work.
Are we to expect that Galactus will destroy their universe and then they escape to the regular MCU? Is that?
I mean,
that was the end.
What other reason would they have to cross dimensions?
Yeah, so they don't have much to worry about, right? In terms of setting anything in any particular way, you just can blow it up. So
sure, yeah, it's going to end the movie on a bit of a downer. Like, okay, my entire universe got eaten by Galactus.
Dude, talk about a downer. They'll enter the MCU and the first people they'll meet is the fucking Thunderbolts. Be like, oh.
Well, you forgot Ironheart is coming out.
Yay!
Yeah,
she'll fly up and say how.
Sorry, isn't Mephisto Sacha Baron Cohen?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's Big Bora. Because my name is Mephisto.
Why
isn't Mephisto
him
like
in?
a super popular character as well? And you bring fucking Sacha Baron
very
Cohen
powerful bad guy, but we've already got Doctor Doom and Galactus on the way. Why are you having Mephisto as well? Like, calm the fuck
He's gonna
down.
lose to Riri Williams.
What about that recent rumor that they were saying that Marvel was looking at for the X-Men? Once they do the Fantastic Four and then they do Doomsday, that when they start their X-Men, that they were looking at race swapping Professor X and Magneto.
That's what I heard. Yeah,
they can't race swap Magneto. They can't do that.
I know.
Well, you think so?
They said Denzel Washington was a good fit for. Like,
he'll have grown up in fucking South Africa during apartheid or something. Like that's all it takes, man.
Oh, like, if they did, they get in serious fucking trouble if they did that. I think Professor X they could try and get away with, but not Magneto. I don't think.
I don't think they would care.
The problem is Magneto and his relationship with his history is too long ago now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. Well, it doesn't work out like age-wise. Yeah.
Well, they want to have the Martin Luther King Malcolm X debate. Basically, they want to show two sides. That was what the story had reported.
So it's just gonna be, I'm more oppressed. No, I'm more oppressed.
Yeah. Oh man, it's just
that sounds awful.
I'm tired.
What was that? What was that scary movie film where Professor X was black and he kept coming out first in a wheelchair, then in a bicycle, then on a toilet with wheels?
Is that a superhero movie?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I think it is.
Well, what do you think of
yeah.
Galactus's look that they showed the other day?
Looks fine. Like, for what he is, this giant fucking...
I'm way too
planet-eating
cynical
guy.
about this at this point. You know when they were like, "Oh, Cyclops' costume, here it comes. Oh, look, it's authentic. It's just like the comical animated thing or whatever you want to see." I was like, none of this matters. The writing will be horrendous.
Yeah,
like
good point.
this is just to placate. If anything, it's done for this specific reason of hopefully we get some tweets from people saying this is going to be good because we have the accurate costume. Yes.
That worked for like Deadpool and Wolverine. It's like, oh shit, Wolverine's in his comic accurate costume. But that was a nice gimmick for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Isn't Ralph Ineson voicing Galactus?
Yes.
I hope they don't fuck with his voice. I hope they don't.
Well, he's got like the Sheffield accent or something, or the Yorkshire accent. Hey, lads, I'm here to eat your planet.
I will say that was a pretty good choice, though. His voice is fucking epic. Like,
it is, yeah.
Throw a few God filters on it, and I'm sure you'll sound the part.
Apply the God filter. Should we do some super chats?
Yeah.
What do you think? All right. TGV Monster here says, "Hi everyone, it's good seeing MauLer, Az, and Jay putting out stories." I guess not me, but yeah.
Drinker, you already did.
Drinker can go fuck himself. Just got my copy of Saints and Sinners. Forget The Last of Us. 28 years later is in June. Have you ever tried the Resident Evil randomizer? The Resident Evil 4 ones are pure nonsense. So yeah, a lot of things going on in that super chat. Yeah, congrats for buying Saints and Sinners. Thank you, man. And yeah, 28 years later, that's going to be out in June. I am actually looking forward to that movie. The trailer looks fantastic. And yeah, I actually did the randomizer when I was streaming with the Residents of Evil guys. We'd completed Resident Evil 1, like tried to do a bit of a speed run on it. And then they were like, right, we've got a bit of time. Let's put the randomizer on. And you just get insane shit, like a shark bursting out of a closet in the middle of a room and then just swimming towards you. But it's great. It's insane in all the right ways. Northern English Bastard says, "Hail Drinker, MauLer, Mr. H, and George. Just saw
Not
Mission
me.
Impossible." Yeah, or me. Yeah. Just saw Mission Impossible. Christ, this was more bloated than Bella Ramsey's face. This did not need to be a two-parter.
She does look like she got stung by a bee.
I feel like you're getting a refund from my tickets after what y'all said.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's worth watching just to like review it and discuss it.
Well,
It's
anyone
kind of fascinating.
anyone wants to see it through, like as a Mission Impossible franchise, like yeah, go ahead. But like, I wouldn't recommend it as entertainment. I don't think it's kind of hard to say that.
Yeah. RRTNZ says Tom Cruise hangs off airplane wings. Chuck Norris skydives from satellites without a parachute. If Chuck Norris kills you in a dream, then you wake up dead. So he's like Freddy Krueger, yeah. M8566, Last of Us showrunner says he needs 4 seasons to finish the story.
Why?
How long are you going to torment MauLer with this show? And I wonder what terrible content MauLer is going to make you watch in return. I swear to God, man, like once we get past this final episode, I'm done with it. I don't think I can even come back for season 3. It's just
I'm gonna hold you to that.
It makes me physically fucking retch and makes me angry when I'm watching it.
You need a
whole season of just Abby doing Abby things. Like
that would be preferable, I think. I like Abby more than Ellie in this. Actually, no, don't let me say that because then I'm going to get.
I was about to say, like,
but
you remember how it goes in the game, right? That shit is.
Sure, yeah, but it's like Caitlin Dever is at least somewhat interesting to look at, and it doesn't make me feel sick. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, man, it's a tough show. Nikos says, "This movie was disappointing, and worst of all, it was boring. Much like Dead Reckoning, this movie has massive retcons, disappointing character deaths, and Fast and Furious physics. It's like a dumb parody." That pretty much sums it up nicely, actually. Yeah. The thing that pisses me off the most is the antagonist. AI is relevant in something like Terminator, but not in Mission Impossible. It's not relatable, and it's done in the most boring way possible.
You could make it work. What they did was cartoonish and stupid. Like the idea that because Ethan throughout all these films has relied heavily on crazy gadgets and awesome technology. The idea, do you remember in Dead Reckoning, there's this one moment where he's running around and like he's got like a visor or glasses or whatever, and
Yes.
there's information that's being pulled away or lied about on it because that's what the entity's doing to him. That is like the one thing that they have a flicker of an idea where Ethan, Mr. I rely on technology for like all of my missions, his technology is now against him. It's like that's something. There's something there. You can,
Well,
you can
yeah,
do something with the story.
You could have went back to 80s style Cold War era with like mechanical devices. That would have been
Yeah.
quite cool.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, they touch on that briefly in like the command centers and stuff where they're not using computers anymore. They're like moving things around on maps, and they've got like, you know, really old like 1970s computers that are like analog.
Dead Reckoning lost me when in the beginning they were like, it's infected all of our digital shit, so now we've got an army of people typing out all of our digital shit. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And they said we have to type it out because obviously like printing it or getting it directly from the source, the entity could have fucked with it. And it's like, yeah, they could have, what they're typing out could be fucked with. Idiots. Like the whole thing was so stupid.
He's got two more here. He says, here's my idea for the plot. What if after the attack in MI6 was foiled, the Syndicate blamed the attempt on the US starting World War III with communist China? The remnants of the Syndicate could also do an attack on Russia so that they can fight Europe. Ethan would hunt the Syndicate remnants through the battlefield to expose the truth and stop the war. I think it's interesting, but like they would never get to the point of like an all-out nuclear war actually happening. In this, like the world always has to be saved before any like mass casualty event happens. That's the whole point of it.
The huge mistake was letting Henry Cavill die. They should have just brought him back, even though what happened to him was pretty killing. I just brought him back, make him the villain again. He fucking hated Ethan by the end of Fallout. Work with that, okay? Makes it really fun. So,
would you make him a Bond villain and he's just got like a metal plate?
Absolutely, yes. I would even make
Why won't you die?
It's easy, it's perfect, and he's already got all the motivations that the Syndicate had, right? The Rogue Nation with Solomon Lane. So got all that. You can bring fucking the actor for Gabriel in, make him like a mercenary that Henry Cavill hires. Give him an actual character. That'd be neat. Don't do any of this dumb entity shit. By the way, can I just say the entity is like the shittiest name for a super AI ever. The entity.
It called itself the entity.
Ugh.
It goes, the entity said this. Why are you referring to yourself in the third person?
It's psychotic.
Do you think everyone's just mad that Skynet is like one of the coolest names for an AI? It's gone rogue. And
what was the shitty name they gave it to in Dark Fate? Because they're like, oh,
Legion.
Skynet, what the fuck's
Legion,
that?
yeah.
Legion, yeah.
See, HAL, Shodan, GLaDOS, these are all way better, but for some reason we ended with Legion and Entity. Ugh, gross. Try again.
Gross.
Plus the nuclear war aspect is stupid because you can never make that work. Literally, let's destroy everything. Who the fuck wants that?
Well, any villain who's like end game is just blow up the world and kill the entire human race. It's like, well,
just kill yourself.
Yeah, it's just like it's not interesting. Like that's not a motivation. That's just like insanity. Like so there's nothing to really get behind there. Yeah.
You should have made him a goth kid going fuck the world. He's smoking a cigarette every 5 seconds and drinking coffee.
Marksman says Amazon picked up another indie animation from YouTube called Murder Drones. Have you guys heard of it? It was an enjoyable watch, worth trying. No, I've not heard of Murder Drones. Any of you guys?
No, I heard of Murderbot, but not for Amazon. Apple released it.
Yeah.
Isn't that just a normal drone with C4?
I mean, you ever watched any of that footage where like they're just flying towards a group of soldiers and then the camera feed cuts out? Like, oh, yeah, nasty.
There's a horrific one where they're lying in a trench and it sounds like a million bees just going zzz around them.
Ugh. Nice.
They're so
picturing
fast.
a drone with a little knife that tries to shank you in like London.
Get away!
Trying to mug
it holds you up with a gun. It goes, give me your money. It's got a handout.
Yeah. Northern English Bastard says, for the panel, check out The Luckiest Man in America, a low-key drama that deserves some attention, especially since its star Walton fucking Goggins. There you go.
He's cool.
Yeah, he is. We like Walton.
He carries Fallout show, which he'll be doing in season 2 again.
I wonder how long that's going to go for. How many seasons?
They want to go 5. I swear
5.
to God, dude. Dude, if that you're gonna make me watch that, aren't you, Drinker? And then everyone's gonna be mad that I haven't reviewed more than one episode. Then I watch the whole thing, and the whole cycle happens again.
He was great in
Kind of, yeah.
Goggins. Goggins was great in that.
He was, but the show sucked balls.
Outside of that, he was great.
Outside of that, yeah.
I mean, it did well in the ratings. I think a lot of people watched it. So yeah, they probably will get their 5 seasons unless it goes off a cliff. Sean Wikram Singh says, never expected MI8 to go the Tron Legacy route in terms of where the AI ended up, which was more or less how the grid did. I worked out what was missing from your Thunderbolts experiences. I saw it in Sri Lanka and my cinema had a slide down one side. I emailed Drinker pictures. An intermission after Bucky flips that vehicle was also very welcome.
It has a slide?
So you go to the intermission, you can just slide out of the cinema. And
it's the quickest escape if the movie sucks.
I mean, yeah, it would definitely make it more interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
He also says, save lots of money on the budget and maybe re-energize both franchises. Ethan Hunt versus Saw's Jigsaw in one building full of traps. Ethan has to escape from one to the next to reach Jigsaw at the end. Sure. I say just go with it. Why not? Yeah.
And talking about Tron Ares is coming out.
Yeah, I saw the posters for it.
Right, yeah.
That's the one thing. It's Jared Leto as Ares.
Yeah.
That holy shit, that guy's reputation has taken a dive in recent years, hasn't it? It all started with Morbius.
I thought it was just a Joker.
Yeah, I feel like the Joker did more damage.
I'm an idea.
I suppose. I always thought he was just never in it long enough to really make that much of an impression, but I guess he was.
But he's like poison. He's like a tiny amount of him is toxic. Like he went, we live in a society, don't we, Batman?
Yeah.
He had damaged written on his forehead.
When he wanted Batman to give him a reach around in the Snyder Cut, remember that? And that was the one that they said he did well as the Joker.
It's like every scene he is in is horrendous.
Yeah. Well, apparently he was an absolute dick on set as well.
Oh, did he
method acting?
Yeah, method, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, why? Of all the movies to method act for,
sending rats and blood and
yeah. David Marshall says, Drinker, it's close to 100 episodes since Rags was on Open Bar. Right that wrong. Also get Nutsa and Capital O on soon. MauLer can vouch for me on that one. Can you, MauLer?
Yeah.
Can you? Yeah.
Those guys, brilliant guests.
Well, let's get them on.
You got to find suitable episodes.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because I was talking to you about getting Rags on, and it's like, well, we need to find something that he's really into, that he'd want to talk about. And we can do that.
Maybe you just got a no fairy policy.
That is true, yeah. He's a doggo, he's not a furry, so he's all right.
Well, with your accent, you said no fairy policy.
Yeah. John McKinley says, Hail Drinker, MauLer, and the whole panel. Congrats on the Rippaverse comics. I bought all 5 covers and can't wait to read your stories. Happy Thirsty Thursday to all you gents. Cheers. That is awesome, man. That's super generous to get all 5 of them. So thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy them when they come out.
Hell yeah.
Dr. Pelican says, greetings all. What movies or shows have you recommended that wouldn't be considered mainstream? Asking for a friend. This is for everyone.
Mobland, I love that.
Well, that's pretty mainstream. Yeah.
Is it really mainstream? Okay, then
you'd have to name something that not everyone recognizes.
Yeah,
Tokyo Vice, I love.
I recommended All of Us Are Dead. It's like South Korean zombie outbreak show, which I don't think is super well known. It was just out a couple of years ago. And Blue Eye Samurai. I don't know how much of an impression that show made, but I really liked it.
Right.
So those would have been my recommendations.
I liked Bloodhounds, although after episode 6, it kind of rushes to the ending because one of the actresses drunk drove and got fired.
Seriously?
So, yeah, she got caught drinking and driving. So it kind of, it's really good. And in episode 6, there's a bit of a time skip. And it's like, okay, quickly wrap up the season. Still good, though.
Oh, yeah, Mr. In Between is great.
South Korean show as well.
I watched a series called Kingdom. I think it was a Korean
the zombie
show.
one?
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
me into that as well.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy recommendation for anybody who likes. It's a way better zombie thing than you'll find in the past like 10 years for the most part.
The
entertaining.
one thing I'll say is that it doesn't end like
Yeah,
it seems to
yeah.
just stop.
Not a huge fan of its ending, but I really like season 1, and a lot of season 2 still got highlights and stuff.
Yeah.
I like the moment where you realize like they think they understand how the zombies work, and then they realize they totally don't. Like that's pretty cool. I like that. Next one is Matthew Bolot says, won't be able to catch the show today, but wanted to say thank you. You, EFAP, and FNT helped to rekindle my love for storytelling, and I published my second short story, The Disappearance of William Coroni, on Amazon. Very nice, man. Congratulations to you. I hope it does well. I'm glad we can give you some entertainment as well. Magic Window says, my dad loves The Last Jedi. He says it might be his favorite Star Wars film. Is there any hope for him?
No. Put him down.
Yeah, put him out of his misery. He'll thank you ultimately for it. It's a tortured soul, clearly.
You're like, Dad, no, you're thinking of Empire Strikes Back. That's a different film.
Yeah. Will Dreamer, can we say that Crypto the Superdog has been race swapped? Could we get behind similar changes like Rocket being a rabbit or Groot being bamboo? Well, that's the question, isn't it? Because, yeah, he's a different breed of dog in the comics, isn't he? But, like, James Gunn made him the same breed as his dog.
His dog.
In real life. I don't care that much. I don't really know anything about Crypto from the comics.
All the white dogs are really angry now.
Yeah.
Drinker just casually approving of a blatant race swap.
I know, yeah.
Never thought I'd see the day.
That's it. Breaking news. Drinker goes woke.
Didn't they race swapped Nora in The Last of Us with the bald Asian lesbian who's going to be in that intergalactic game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you spot the cross marketing that's at play here, Reaper? Can you sense it?
Wow, she's unlikable in 2 products.
Yeah. She's dead though, so that's nice. Jack and Kayak says, for the group, has a movie or TV show ever inspired you to travel somewhere? By the way, hiked your West Highland Way a couple of years back, inspired by Braveheart and Highlander. Thanks and cheers. Yeah, well done, man. The West Highland Way is not an easy walk either. It's pretty long. But yeah, you guys ever been inspired to visit a place because you've seen it in a movie or whatever?
Yes.
I went to Dubrovnik and I saw where the Game of Thrones recorded most of King's Landing, which is kind of cool. But that was mostly, I was just in Dubrovnik.
I was just there at the time. So
it is a beautiful fucking part of the world, though, isn't it? Like the scenery there is spectacular.
I was just gonna say, Lord of the Rings seems to be one of the most common for like inspiring people to go see New Zealand and be like, oh my god, people actually live here. Look at the Hobbit.
Well, what else is there except for bikers?
Yeah, like if you really like sheep, then New Zealand is the place for you. But otherwise, yeah, it's not that interesting. Yeah, it's more like for me, like if I happen to be in a place, it's like, well, I can, I see places that were used in movies or whatever, and things like Washington, D.C. It's like, well, okay, that's been in a million movies, and it's pretty amazing to walk around all these like big landmarks and like, stuff that you recognize. Same with New York when I was in like Times Square and all that shit. It's really cool to be there. You've seen it on screen so many times, but I can't really think of places that I've specifically gone to because it's been in a TV show. Usually just, it's places I would have gone anyway.
Yeah, New Zealand is like 20 hours on a plane. Fuck that.
You need a strong reason to go there.
Yeah.
It's like the ass end of nowhere otherwise.
If you're cast in the next Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, isn't that a good reason to go there?
Sure, yeah. Ron B. Off topic, but I wanted to cheers Luke from Outdoor Boys, who retired after 10 years and 1,100 videos. His channel was a great escape from all the woke nonsense. An absolute legend who'll be missed. Yeah, this was like making headlines and stuff just because this guy was retiring. I mean, credit to him. He went out on a high. He'd done his bit, and he decided he was all done with it. Rode off into the sunset.
A heavy amount of criticism, I'm guessing, because people adore the content. I'd never heard of him, which is kind of funny how YouTube works in terms of there's like these huge channels that are just there, and you've just never come across it at all. But I saw Quarter Black quote tweet, like someone had said, like, what a piece of shit, you know, like abandoning the channel, abandoning his fans for whatever.
Yeah,
have
it's
you.
fun
And he
to-
was like, it's actually pretty based to choose your family over a YouTube channel. And I was like, yeah, that's actually fine.
Well,
It's
Especially
just
if
like,
you don't
what's the
protect it.
alternative? Go like the boogie route, where you're just like,
Oh,
you know,
God.
you're playing to a diminishing fan base who fucking
Dude,
hate you, just hate
I
your life.
saw-
And
I saw a clip where Boogie announced that he plans, and the way he says it is, you know, that girl he's with, who's like, they refer to her jokingly as his daughter every once in a while, because of like the age gap and how weird it all is. There's this clip where he says, "I'm gonna put a baby in her," and I was like, "Ugh, it's so gross."
he's so
someone on-
retarded as well. It's like, I feel like he would steal a baby and then try to insert it in her. Like, that's how he would interpret it.
And someone on his podcast asked him, like, why would he have a kid with a girl when he's not going to live like another 5 years? And he said that he's already spoken to her parents about how they'll have to raise the child.
That must have been a good conversation.
Like, what the fuck, dude? I was just like, God, they're actually monsters.
You'd say to them, "Can you even find your dick?"
Yeah.
I think the documentary that I saw about him was the saddest thing, because it's like they interviewed some hooker from LA who slept with him, and she's like, sleeping with Boogie like got me out of that business. Like, it made me quit. Jesus Christ.
Could you imagine?
So that's just like,
Oh,
there's like depressing, then there's grim, and then there's like whatever that is, like right down in
dude,
the basement.
He has a triple meat apron.
sleeping with Boogie is more repugnant than being on drugs. That's insane. Cure your addiction by sleeping with Boogie.
Good Lord.
Uh,
Anyway, moving on. Ruby for the critical drinker. Go try and rescue this situation from that horrible image.
I'm glad I made it today.
Yeah. Maxi Rage says, "Where's MauLer? Is he safe? Is he all right?"
Yeah.
Also, that episode of Mobland, I loved it. And also, as is a traitor drinker, you need to force him to watch.
Dude,
Get him. He'll watch it.
weekly for the past like 2 months, I've told him to watch it. And every time he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna watch tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna watch tonight. Yeah, so on it. Yeah, definitely do it." And to last Real BBC, me and Gary were like outraged that he still hasn't watched it. He was like, "Okay, I promise to watch it before the next episode of Real BBC." And we were like, "What the fuck difference is that compared to the last 2 months? Like, how?
Yeah.
What do you do with a person who just won't help themselves? He watches all of Batwoman, but he won't watch Mobland."
Yep.
ooh.
Shan says, "Now that I think about it, MI8's plot with the AI trying to take over the world's nuclear missiles is a bit too much Age of Ultron as well, isn't it?"
It's got the exact same problems Age of Ultron has as well that defeat him. Even though that made more sense because it was Vision that pulls him out of the internet because he's a super AI as well.
Yeah, I mean, it just sort of severs his connection to the internet because that's the thing you can do. But did you
it's
see the
still-
entity try to pull a city out of the earth and then lift it up into the space and then drop it? Don't think so.
Yeah.
The entity's weak shit compared to Ultron.
There would be a stupid off between those two films, I guess.
A stupid off.
Sounds like a really bad Russian general.
Yeah. Oh no, it's General Stupidov. Bortio says, "Hey guys, have you seen the new Jurassic World trailer? The T-Rex scene looks awesome, but man, it's hard to be a Jurassic Park fan nowadays, isn't it?" Yeah, I mean, like, you know.
I mean, I've seen it said the Retardosaurus is not scary. It's just like, what the fuck is this mutated bullshit? And it's like, we can't do anything else.
And you still think it'll do well? Even with that
Yeah.
trailer? Okay.
People watch
Oh,
this
yeah.
shit, man.
They always do well. The word that Dominion, all I've ever heard is people say it's shit. It did really
It is
well.
shit.
It
It's
did really
Into a
well.
billion.
It did well, yeah.
Wow.
It's a strong
Sure,
franchise.
billion.
Somehow, like, it's like expected now that it's going to be retarded, and so people just go into it with no expectations. They just want to see dinosaurs.
Maybe that just is more about society today.
Yeah, it probably does.
Well-
It's so wild when you compare it to the first movie. It's like that
Oh,
movie
yeah.
actually had some interesting stuff to say. Like, there was a lot of moral questioning going on there beyond just like, look at that T-Rex eating a guy. Isn't that cool?
Well,
This is
there
where we've
seems to be
ended up.
loads of movies like that where people show up en masse like Avatar, and it leaves zero cultural impact.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's scary.
It's so weird.
And how can a movie make $2 billion like Avatar? More than that, it's like 2.5, and no one cares about it. No one talks about it. Like,
And
are there big Avatar fan communities that I don't know about out there
No.
somewhere?
Or the red next time. That's the new selling point. They're red.
Wow, innovative stuff. That's because
Then
they're
you
the
have
fire
another-
people, aren't they?
Yeah,
It's Avatar: The Last Airbender. He's just copying it.
makes sense. But they have what 3 more coming out, doesn't he, Cameron?
Yeah.
Oh, probably, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't he if they're making billions of dollars a piece? But Christ, what a way to end your career. Master of Puppets says, Drinker and MauLer, if your comics take off, will you do more, or is this a one-off? When will people be able to submit their pitches for trial by fire? So, as for the first question, yeah, would we do more? It's an interesting thing to be part of, but
who could say? But what would be key is people expressing their interest in more. That would have to be something of a component if ever more was to be made.
Indeed. And yeah, for their pitches for trial by fire, yes, we're pretty much ready to go now. I think it'll probably be next week, I would imagine, that we'll open it up. So once we'll make an announcement on like my channel and like the Kickstarter page, all that sort of thing, so everyone will know about it. And then you'll have like a month to submit your pitches, so you'll have plenty of time. And there's like a neat little system that we've got for people to submit it, so it's not just like a random email address; it's like a proper link that you can get. And yeah, then we'll start judging it. So yeah, stay tuned. Renault the Turk says, hate to see it, but MI for anal reckoning will be destroyed by the Disney live action movie. When is Brendan Gleeson dressed as Stitch? Sorry.
What? Well, yeah, it is going to be hilarious if like Mission Impossible's box office crashes around about with Lilo and Stitch rising. Even though you know the audiences aren't shit, it would just be a funny title, right? Lilo and Stitch kills Mission Impossible. Be like, what? Why?
I'll do a couple more and then finish up. Last Bandit says, Drinker, do yourself a favor and watch Hell on Wheels. Great gritty Western series.
Oh, yeah. Didn't
know much about that, actually. Is it good?
Yeah, it's phenomenal, actually. It's the guy who plays Pike on the Star Trek Strange Worlds when he used to do something good.
Oh, Anson Mount.
Anson Mount.
Yeah.
It was
what, like Thunderbolt?
Yeah, no, not that shit. No. Hell on Wheels was his first one. He stuck the landing. Really good.
Nice. Art Venture Rider says, going down since Henry died was lost by a lot, including why Rebecca Ferguson replaced by Agent Something Girl. Scooter scene was funny. I mean, I guess.
Well, I agree. I would say going down is a light way to put it. Like Fallout was hugely better than Dead Reckoning. It wasn't even close. And then it was awkward to have Rebecca Ferguson in for a scene or two, kill her off, and then bring in replacement girl, essentially.
Was she pregnant at the time? Is that why she looked weird on screen?
She was pregnant when they were filming Fallout. There's a very funny story to do with Sean Harris about that. But no, it's just as simple as she chose Dune over Mission Impossible.
Right.
Which probably the better choice.
Got out at the right time. And Leo Fisher says, did Tom Cruise / Ethan Hunt hold up a knife with the sub outline and say, the missiles are behind the conning tower? What's that a reference to? Am I missing something here?
I'm trying to remember.
Oh, wait, yeah. It's the fucking Rise of Skywalker, isn't it?
Oh, God.
With the fucking stupid knife, yeah. Okay.
That would not be beyond this movie stupid, so...
It's roughly the same level. Yeah. That fucking sub scene, honestly. Ugh. Put it behind me. Yeah, I'll finish up with that one there because that's what a great way to end the stream and the crushing disappointment of Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. I want to say thank you, panel, for coming in tonight. Even despite the communication problems on X, I'm glad you guys were able to make it. And yeah, Reaper, thank you for being my temporary co-host for like 10 minutes from all I got here. And for everyone else, thank you for joining us this evening. And we will answer any of the super chats that we missed, as always, on Last Orders. But that is all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye.
Bye.